The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Bill Gunner for Charwood Golf Club, one of the Midland's hidden secrets. You need to get out there today, especially if you're not at Willie B this fall enjoying a great atmosphere at a football game. Enjoy the great atmosphere at Charwood Golf Club. Schedule a tee time today, 803-755-2000. Schedule that tee time. Go visit the Wood today and enjoy, again, a great 18-hole layout in a fantastic, relaxed environment. That number again, 803-755-2000. Call today and schedule a tee time.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion, Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS.
The Halftime Show on the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head, as we roll till 3 here on the game.
Whoa.
Yeah?
Harry Ford is here at the start of the show. Let's not bury the lead here, folks. For those placing their bets, I apologize because all of you have lost today.
Lots of losers today dropping the bets. I actually am here. I was here actually early, even before Wes and Chris left the studio. They were kind of surprised to see me, too. I'm here. Because every now and then you got to shake it up. But when people get comfortable, you got to make them uncomfortable. Then some guy on the text line really dogged me. He said, if I worked construction, I'd have been fired.
I did see that. I sent you that text specifically.
It was so good.
Because I thought it was funny.
I thought it was hilarious. I was almost going to text him back and say, say something, but it was.
Now, what job would you do on a construction site?
I'd be the guy holding that sign.
You'd be the guy that nobody can find?
Yeah.
Hey, where's Terry? We got to mix some concrete.
I'm going to tell you something. I learned this, and I got this from my dad. Manual labor and Terry Ford.
Not your game?
No, man. I had a buddy. My friend, I was joking about this today with a dude at the gym, talking about like construction. It's like I had a buddy of mine whose family, they had construction company.
Right.
And he was like, when we got older, you're like, hey, you want to come out, during the summer, make some extra bucks, a little side hustle during the summer before school. I said, doing what? Construction. Nope. Not good. Nope. And I did 1 year, though, when I would just start out in radio. I did the UPS holiday gig.
Okay.
Where you're because again they always hire holiday people to move the boxes in and out of the trucks and everything.
Got the nice pair of shorts, right?
Oh, absolutely, they were smoking. So I did that. I'll never forget. I did it, and I weighed like $150, and maybe $160 tops at that time. And I mean the packages weighed more than me.
Of course.
So I'm lifting them.
People buying canoes off of UPS.
Stupid stuff. I mean, it's like, my God, I can't believe somebody actually bought a patio set for Christmas. The thing weighs 100 pounds. So I'm doing it the first day, right? It was a 3-hour shift. I think it was like 3 to 6 a.m. or something. And I can't operate very well at that point in time anyway.
Yeah.
Unless it was at bars when I was like 20. So I go do this, right? And I'm sore as I'm doing it. I can feel it. I can feel it hitting me. So I finish up, go back home. I wake up, I can't move. It's like 911.
Yeah, you use muscles you'd never used before.
I called 911. Yeah, can you carry me to the bathroom, please? So I go back the next day, and I'm still sore because you did. It was like 3 days a week or whatever. No, I think I had a day in between, and I'm still sore when I get there for day 2. And there's a guy, and you always got a few dudes who have been working there forever, right?
Sure.
And I say to the one guy, he's been there, 100 years. I'm like, it's like, Jesus, man, I'm so sore. I'm still sore from the other day. He says, it's all right. It gets better. I go, what? Do you get used to it? He goes, nah. You go numb.
And then eventually you die.
You lose feeling in all your lower extremities. So I did that holiday season. I mean, they paid you decent back then to hop in and do it.
I guarantee you have a newfound respect for those that do that now.
Well, guess how many years I did it after that one?
0.
Because, again, Terry Ford, manual labor, not good.
Well,
Does not go together.
You picked the right career path then.
Oh,
you just
absolutely.
have to come in here and blab about sports.
Look out for my old man. My dad, nothing. Not a handyman, not a fix-it guy, none of that stuff. My dad, if something went wrong in the house, like I say, something went wrong with the plumbing, my dad would go, grab Yellow Pages, boy. That's why we got the Yellow Pages. Call somebody.
Jim's Plumbing's here for a reason.
Just the old man. I mean, basically, because my dad's side of the family were farmers. They had a farm in near the North Carolina-Tennessee border in North Carolina. And again, back then, you got 10 kids. There's no cable. You didn't have a whole lot to do. So you got 10 kids because you needed farm hands, right?
Oh, sure.
My dad hated it so bad, he decided he was going to suck up to his mom and learn how to cook. So he could sit in the kitchen and cook with mom and make like breakfast, lunch, and dinner while his brothers and sisters are out working on the farm.
Smart strategy.
Smart man.
Yeah.
Learned how to cook. Of course, that got him a beat down from his older brothers. He was the youngest.
I'm sure it did.
He got smacked around like nobody's business. So, again, I come from a long line of folks who don't really want to do any manual labor at all.
Yeah.
All right, so we're hanging out here, halftime show, 12 to 3 here on the game today. Of course, I'm on time. That throws the whole show haywire. And by the way, on the text line, you all lost your bets.
Every single one.
You all lost your bets. All right, as we sit in this bye week, we went over this yesterday, Tyler. Decided to look at the ESPN predictor. Just for fun. I just wanted to see what ESPN thought about the games moving forward for South Carolina. And to be quite honest, I was surprised. The A&M game is 50-50 right now. But after that, South Carolina is only predicted to lose one game at Clemson.
Yep.
They're predicted to beat Missouri, beat Vandy in Nashville, obviously beat Wofford. So they're predicted to be a 7-win team, and depending on the outcome of the A&M game, which is 51-48 A&M or something like that, the predictor predicts a 7-win season, and if they do win the 50-50 game, it would be an 8-win season for South Carolina. Mm-hmm. So, to the point of not just us saying it here in Columbia that, they could win. There's no team that can beat them on their schedule. The computers, the analytic, fancy, smart computers even think South Carolina has at least 7 wins in them for this season, maybe 8 if they could win the 50-50 game.
And I think that's all based on the defense, because if you have a defense that, I put the number out there a little bit earlier on this morning, if you could guarantee me that this offense could score you 24 points at least in every single game, I think they could win all 5 games. It's just getting to that point that's going to be the problem, because this defense has shown the ability to hold some pretty high-flying and explosive offenses to almost season lows. Ole Miss, LSU, obviously Alabama only scored 27 points. Like, this defense has done their job more often than not.
They've given up 30 points once this year.
Yeah.
LSU. So, I mean, and really LSU, if you look at the average points per game LSU scores, it was right around LSU's average, to be fair.
Yeah.
So, at the end of the day, this defense is good enough to win every game on the schedule from here on out. It's just going to come down to offensively, A, can you be productive? And B, can you stay away from shooting yourself in your body parts?
Sure.
If you can stay away from those crippling mistakes that you've made in games and just be productive. You don't have to be explosive and wow, and you don't be the greatest show on turf or Joe Burrow's LSU or Mac Jones's Alabama. All you got to be is productive and don't make the game-killing mistakes. And you got a shot in every one of these games, even driving up north. I mean, so it's there. It's there, and it's doable because defensively you got dudes. You just offensively have to be able to pull your own weight in some way, shape, or form. So, and I heard you guys, you and Wes and Chris talking about if A&M beats LSU, which they can.
They can.
Absolutely. That game's in College Station. A&M is obviously haven't lost since Notre Dame. And we laugh that this is the SEC championship, the SEC midseason championship game between LSU and A&M because they're both undefeated in the league.
They are fighting to be the lone top dog in the SEC right now.
So if you sit and look at that, and let's say A&M does come in undefeated, and let's say they're in the bottom part of the top 10 after that win, let's say they get to 10. So you have undefeated A&M at number 10 in the country in your barn, a night game at Willie B.
Right.
And if you could, and honestly, you have a legit shot to win that game. And if you do, and you're sitting at 5-3, 3-3 in the league, now all sorts of kooky stuff runs through your head, right? Now you're like, we might not lose another game.
Listen,
and
our guy from Bustin' with the Boys in the last hour, JP Hovey, he said 9-3 in a playoff spot. If you ran the table and finished 9-3, there's a conversation to be had.
Well, we're going to see, and we're going to talk a little bit about the playoff today, since it is a bye week and it's Thursday of the bye week. We'll do a little playoff conversation. And Elijah, we put up an interesting Twitter X poll today that we're going to throw out to go into that college football SEC playoff conversation. I mean, if you sit and look at chaos, I mean, obviously you need to have chaos to get in at 9-3.
Sure.
So you have to root for chaos. But if you do get chaos, which we've had a decent amount of it so far, 9-3 could kick you through the door. It could. So we'll see where they go. But if you win, and look, even if A&M loses, let's just be honest here. Even if A&M gets beat by LSU, which by the way could happen as well.
Yeah.
And they come in as a one-loss SEC team who's still ranked, and you beat them, it's a pretty good pelt on the wall too.
Yeah, I think so, and I think winning that game, you'd be sitting at 5-3. You might find yourself in the top 25. Carolina has flirted with it several times this year, but just when they're on the cusp of getting in, they lose, and then they kind of come tumbling back down a little bit. And again, right now it's the AP rankings. They don't really mean anything, but you put yourself in a position to maybe when that top 25 does come out for the first time for the college football playoff, you're in it. And again, I'm not sitting here saying that Carolina's going to be, a college football playoff team, but having that number next to your name is worth something in value.
Yeah, and just it's forward momentum, right?
Sure.
It's saying, look, we're rolling in the right direction this year, and that's what it does. And if you can pull that W off, which again will be massively doable, and get to that 5-3, 3-3 in league, and you've had two losses to, at the time, ranked teams, one in the top 10, and that team on the road. You look pretty good at 5-3.
Right.
You really do. So we'll see where that goes. I thought that was an interesting conversation you guys were having earlier about if A&M does come in undefeated and you get them, a night game at Williams-Brice. Halftime show, Terry Ford and Tyler Head. We were hanging here till 3 on the game. Speaking of bye weeks, you have that cut from Shane Beamer we're going to get to next segment about the bye week. Look, the bye week is the bye week. Right now, South Carolina under Shane Beamer with more than a week to prepare are 3-3. There's been some good moments. North Carolina beating North Carolina in the Mayo Bowl. Moments smacking Florida that first year after a bye, beating A&M in that night game at home when Xavier Legette returned the kickoff return with one shoe on. But then you've had blew the game to Florida last year. Lost the Gator Bowl. This year looked like you just woke up from a nap when you played Ole Miss at home.
Right.
It's been a mixed bag off the bye. Shane will talk about the bye coming up next. He was on the SEC Network, and we'll have that coming up here in the next segment. Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Obviously no game this Saturday, but the pot's up to $800. If you haven't done it yet, go to 1075thegame.com. Look at that flippy thingy. When it lands on Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest, click it, fill out the little form, hit submit, and you're in. And if South Carolina does bag a special teams touchdown when they play Texas A&M a week from Saturday, we'll do a drawing at 7:30 a.m. on the early game that Monday, and the winner will get the $800. Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Go to 1075thegame.com. Shane Beamer, his thoughts on the bye week. That's next on the halftime show. Terry Ford and Tyler Head on the game in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, 1075 The Game app and the Game TV.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
We all love streaking. I mean, streaming. Until we have to pay for it. But not when you stream the game.
And how much does it cost?
It's free.
Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the 1075 The Game app. And stream for no charge. And listen for no charge. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20K off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
So you're a guy, you're creeping up, getting older, obviously, every year, rolling through maybe your mid to late 30s into your 40s, maybe your 50s, whatever the case, and you're just noticing it ain't happening like it used to. And what I mean it ain't happening, I mean it could be a lot of things. It could be you're not sleeping as good as you used to. You don't have the energy you used to. You don't have the drive, professional drive, sex drive, life drive, just any kind of drive. You're driveless. Maybe you're not as strong at the gym anymore. You can't lift as much. Whatever it is. It could just be low testosterone. That's all. And there's a fix to that. It's called the Men's Clinic of South Carolina. You call 803-875-MENS. Set up your free confidential consultation with Dr. Dan and the crew at the Men's Clinic. You go in, you tell them your story. If they think it could be low T, they will put you on a program that could be just for you. At the Men's Clinic, 803-875-MENS.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here with Ben Cato, third generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment. You hear me talk all the time about my awesome 30-inch Toro Time Master. It has made my yard work so much easier. I'm spending more time with the family on weekends. Neighbors are jealous of my yard most of the time. Guys, I just feel good when I'm behind that mower.
I'm glad you do, Jay. You and I are different people. I love selling the equipment. I love working on the equipment. I don't really enjoy using the equipment, but hey, doesn't matter. You're a little lazy like me, or you wake up on the weekend super excited to mow your lawn. It's got to get done, right?
All right, so why not get it done with the best tools possible? Do what I did. Visit the guys at Cato's Power Equipment. Let them show you all the ways they can revolutionize your grass cutting obligations.
Whether you're doing it to keep the HOA happy, the wife happy, or you cut grass for a living. Big or small, any budget, Cato's Power Equipment is here to help.
Visit Cato's Power Equipment today, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, and always online at catospowerequipment.com.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Guttermen have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years, building their business on relationships, not gimmicks. And you can call them locally, not a 1-800 number. Call them today at 791-7147 and look for the guys in the powder blue trucks.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
Fall is here, and with it comes all the traditional family outings like tailgating, mountain and beach adventures, and road trips to grandma's over the holidays. Wherever you go, go with great gas mileage, safety, technology, comfort, and style in a new Honda from Honda of Columbia. Right now, you'll get more for your trade than ever, and as always, you'll enjoy their no-hassle pricing, no-pressure buying experience. Honda of Columbia, your friendly family Honda dealer since 1978. Highway 378 at I-20.
Are you a Gamecock fan that's looking for flexibility to attend the games you want without committing to season tickets? If so, the Gamecock Go Pass is for you. For only $20 a month, your Gamecock Go Pass subscription provides you with access to all non-conference football games, most men's and women's basketball and baseball games, and all softball, soccer, and volleyball games. Plus, you have the ability to add on tickets for conference football games and premier basketball and baseball games for an additional cost. To learn more and sign up today, visit thegamecockclub.com/go.
AAA Heating and Air is on the hunt to find the oldest AC unit in our Midland service area. Do you think it could be yours? If you do, it could pay off. AAA Heating and Air and My Oldest AC contest is kicking off, and you have a chance to win a new HVAC system for your home. Just head over to their website, myoldAir.com, and complete the online entry form. AAA Heating and Air will draw a winner at random for every 100 entries. It really is that easy. Contest is limited time only. Residents in the AAA Heating and Air service area are eligible to enter. See the terms and rules on their website for a full list of contest rules.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence. And the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head here on The Game. Game app, Game TV. There's no way we can't stalk you.
No, we're everywhere.
We're everywhere. We are everywhere. Oh, we're going to give you a chance to snag a couple tickets for the Carolina men's home opener, November 4th against North Florida at CLA. That's coming up before 1 o'clock, I do believe, Tyler Head.
That is correct. So keep it locked right here.
Yep. When you hear it, you got to do it like this. You got to keep it locked right here, guys and gals out there in Radio Land.
See, I was never the music radio DJ that had to give stuff away, so I didn't have to perfect that version of my voice. Was it Casey Kasem that used to do the radio stuff back in the day when the voice of Shaggy from Scooby-Doo?
Oh, yeah. Casey Kasem.
He had the voice.
Keep your, what was his line about reaching for the stars? Keep your feet on the ground and keep reaching for the stars.
There is a sports radio host in Atlanta that does a spot-on impression of him.
Casey Kasem.
That is phenomenal.
Yeah, it was really weird. When he passed away, there was a weird thing about his body, and everybody was suing everybody, and it was creepy.
I did not know
weird.
That.
Yeah, it got a little weird.
I'll fall into that rabbit hole later.
If you ever get bored, his wife was like a semi-regular on Cheers for a little while back in the day. Jean Kasem.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah, there's a whole big fight with the family about stuff. It got really weird. Yeah, if you get bored one day.
I will spend at least an hour researching that later.
Rabbit hole later. All right, so bye week for South Carolina. Shane Beamer on the SEC Network discussing this whole spiel about bye weeks and momentum coming off such a big win. And do you not want to go into a bye week when you just finished curb stomping someone?
Yeah, certainly. When you play like you did last Saturday, you want to keep it going, but it's also coming at a good time too, in the sense that we've played 7 games. We got 5 straight games in November coming up, and that's going to be a grind. And for a lot of these freshmen that you're talking about, they've never played football this late into the season. If they didn't make it to the playoffs, their season was about over here at the end of October. So it comes at a good time in that we are able to get rested up a little bit, get healthy. We've got a 7-game body of work to now really look at our team and say, here's where we need to improve. And we really attack that this week in practice. Give our guys some time off this weekend to get rested up mentally and physically, and then get back to work on Sunday. And then we know we got a big challenge next week against A&M.
Yeah, I mean, you always talk about that, man, you played so well. Man, it's a shame you got a bye week now. You were cooking. And, yeah, I mean, what you did in Norman, Oklahoma was massively impressive, especially, obviously, on the defensive side of the ball. And you want to keep that mojo rolling. But you can't change a bye week now. You can't go, hey, second thought. Can we move this? We're playing really good. You got to get rested, you get healthy, and you do. You have 5 games in November, 3 of them at home to finish up the season. So you get your rest, and then you get ready for the gauntlet. And then, look, there is a thing about, and we talk about it, when college players get to the NFL. Your season's typically ending in late November. Then you might have a bowl game at some point. Mm-hmm. In the NFL, you're like, we got December and beginning of January, Chief.
Yeah, no, you're halfway.
Yeah, so strap up. And it's the same thing with high school players coming into college.
Which is it not hilarious that college football, and I know this year it's because of the way the calendar falls, college football has 2 bye weeks with a 12-game regular season. Yes. In the NFL, at 17 games, only has 1. Mm-hmm. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, but the NFL cares about player safety.
Oh, of course they do, as long as that safety starts with, 8 figures.
Yes. NFL cares about 2 things, money and not getting sued.
Ooh, 8 figures, that's probably underselling. More like 12 figures. Because Thursday Night Football, it's kind of bad for the health of players. Oh, Amazon's going to pay us how much?
What?
Everybody's going to play Thursday Night Football.
Hey, you know what? We have a lot of stats that tell you that playing Thursday night is more healthy.
Yeah.
By the way. Gotta love the NFL. All right, so with South Carolina, you get rested, you get healthy, and it kind of resets maybe the younger guys like your freshmen, like Josiah Thompson and Michael Smith, Mazeo Bennett, your linebacker, R.J. Johnson. Get them rested and get them ready for the extra games that they typically wouldn't be playing in a high school football season. So there's positives to it. Yeah, the negative is, you had great momentum beating Oklahoma on the road, but, You gotta look at the idea. Well, at least we get to kind of reset it to go for the stretch in November when you have 5 games.
Sure.
All right, when you sit and look at, we talked about this in the first segment about this football team. Defensively, you're in great shape. Kai Kroger has had a bounce back year punting the football. Your coverage units are really good. Alex Herrera concerns you a little bit, especially once you get past 40. Concerns you a bit. In the kicking game. Return game, look, here's where I'm at with the return game now in football. Just don't turn it over. Or don't fair catch when you're on 3. If you can break returns now, Tyler, great, wonderful. But just don't hurt your team.
Yeah, don't do anything negative. If you can get 4 yards, I'll take it. I'd rather you fair catch it and not have to sit on pins and needles while you're being tackled there. Because, again, that's where it seems most of your turnovers do happen. It's like, hey, a guy trying to make something happen on a punt return, and boom, the ball gets punched out or something like that. Or he doesn't call fair catching, gets hit, and the ball pops out. So, yeah, as long as you don't hurt yourself there, you should be fine.
That's where I'm at. I used to be like, oh, you got to have a dynamic return guy, and you got to do this or that. And, the way that is all evolved now, I just don't want you to make a huge mistake anymore.
And I'm sure Joe D or Pete Limbo or something like that could give us an entire seminar on the differences between punt returns and kick returns over the years and how they've become so much better. Because, again, you used to be able to tune in and see a lot of kickoff return touchdowns, a lot of punt return touchdowns. And, yes, obviously there's more touchbacks now on kickoffs, but the way they go about scheming things up when you are kicking the ball away has made it easier to defend these kind of things. And, there's a lot of reasons why those things don't happen as much as they used to anymore. But, just hold on to the ball, protect it, and don't give them easy field position with, at the 15 or 20-yard line or something like that.
Exactly. Just don't hurt your team in the return game. But the offense, obviously, is where the focus is and has been about, okay, that's got to get better. Even the Oklahoma game, we were so gaga over the defense. The flip side is the offensive line got worked. And that's been a theme, especially the tackles. We talked about this yesterday as well. What do you do? Are you going to play Shivers more at right tackle with Case and Henry? Shane Beamer basically said Tree Barbalade was not healthy.
Yeah, which we kind of figured.
Yeah, that wasn't a shock. So if you don't see Tree the rest of the year for whatever reason, you don't.
And it's one of those things, like there was some optimism with the first bye week after the Akron game. After you played 4 games, like, okay, offensive line not great, particularly the tackle spots, but maybe they can take strides forward in this bye week and can look better starting with Ole Miss. Well, they didn't. Now you're 7 games into the year. Kind of got what you got at this point in time. It's not going to suddenly change overnight. Like, oh my God, this is the best offensive line in the country. No, you're going to give up sacks. You're going to give up pressures. You're going to have to just learn to deal with that.
And remember, A.J. Park was going to come in and give you depth at the tackles, and he got hurt, and we haven't heard a word about him.
Ja'Kai Moore's been injured.
He's done.
What you thought was going to be, and I guess technically speaking, there are some areas that are better than it was last year, but not significant enough.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, Torricelli Simpkins has been your best offensive lineman. Rashawn Lee's been solid. Kamar Bell's been inconsistent. There's been days Bell's been fine and days he hasn't.
If we're just looking at the interior of the offensive line, you'd say, you know what? It's fine.
You can live with that, right?
It's not great, but it's not terrible either. It's the tackles and the edge of your offensive line that is consistently the problem each and every week.
Yeah, so we will see moving forward what they do, and like you said, there's only so much you can do. All right, you're going to do more chipping with your backs. You're going to keep tight ends in.
Well, your tight ends and backs are struggling.
And they're
to block
struggling
at times too.
I was getting ready to say those guys aren't very helpful. So you're kind of in a weird situation. That's why we talked about this on Monday. Do you take a step back, look at this in totality, and say, okay, we obviously want to grow and evolve as an offense, but we also have to look at what do we do really well right now and what do we struggle at? And how are we going to, as games progress, knowing our defense is high quality and our punter's really good, how are we going to move forward in November? How aggressive are we going to be on offense? How much are we going to try to evolve it and develop it? Or are we going to say, look, we're going to still try to grow, but we got to be smart because we can win some games here if we don't do anything stupid on the offensive side of the ball.
The unfortunate part is trying to play without tripping over your own 2 feet can be very complicated at times.
Because you know what you do when you try not to trip over your feet?
You trip over your feet.
Yes. See, all this has got to be figured out as we move along the rest of the year.
Right.
In case you just woke up, we'll tell you what's going on in the world of sports. That's coming up. Halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head. Appreciate you hanging around. What is it? What is today, Tyler? Thursday Night Football.
That's right.
Vikings, Rams tonight here on the game in Columbia, and I believe also in Florence. 7:30 pregame, 8:15 kick right here on the game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
It's back! The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. The pot starts at $100. Every week it increases $100 if Carolina doesn't score a special teams touchdown. But if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown, you could win the pool. Again, just go to 1075thegame.com and register. It's the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest from 1075 The Game.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Honda Pioneer side-by-sides are the go-to machine for work and fun. And Carolina Honda Powerhouse is your Honda side-by-side superstore. Honda Pioneer 3-seaters, 5-seaters, and 6-seater models are in stock on the showroom floor. Big jobs, big property, and big hunts demand a Honda Pioneer. Come see the Honda difference for yourself. Carolina Honda Powerhouse, exit 70 off I-20. Turn by the Flying J. CarolinaHonda.com. For your safety, read the owner's manual. Wear a helmet and eye protection. Always wear your seatbelt and keep the side nets and doors closed. Honda S/S's are for drivers 16 years and older.
When you're hiring for your business, ZipRecruiter's powerful matching technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. This made us wonder, what if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
Escape rooms? Elementary. And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/radio. In fact, 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. Simple. So, see what the world is like when ZipRecruiter does the hard work of hiring for you. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/radio to try ZipRecruiter for free. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/radio. ZipRecruiter.com/radio.
Between you and me, I always knew that I needed life insurance, but I just kept putting it off. Then I found the Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Plan, and it took all the worry out. Now I know I won't be a burden to my family because it can help to cover my final expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debts. And it can help you too. If you're 50 plus, or 50 to 75 in New York, your life insurance acceptance is guaranteed with this policy, regardless of your health history. There are no medical exams to complete or lengthy health questionnaires to fill out. Simply visit GerberLifeFamily.com. And premiums don't increase over time. The amount you pay when coverage begins is the same amount you'll pay throughout the duration of your policy. Just answer 4 easy questions to get your free personalized quote instantly by visiting GerberLifeFamily.com. See website for terms and restrictions. That's GerberLifeFamily.com. Again, that's GerberLifeFamily.com.
Bingo. All right, Bill, we're recording now. And please put your phone on silent.
Oh, where is my phone?
Let's go, man.
Okay.
Get it together over there, player. Go ahead. Pick on me the way that you want to.
I wouldn't say that to my son.
Just go.
Like, why would people want to listen to the Sims Complete podcast?
A father-son dynamic duo talking about the game of football.
We do a lot of quarterback and coach talks. It's fun. I love doing this. It's been awesome.
Sims Complete. Check us out on the Believe Network. Appreciate it.
Just search Believe, BLEAV, wherever you listen.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet
on the Game Network.
What we're talking about, what maybe if you just woke up, you're like, what's going on in sports? You haven't reached for your phone yet or flipped on your TV or cracked open the internet. And we'll tell you what's going on so far. We'll start off, Dawn Staley hanging out on Carolina calls last night. Of course, Shane, it's a bye week. Last bye week, it was Lamont Paris jumped in. This week, it was Brad Muller and also Dawn Staley. And Dawn, obviously defending a national championship where her team ran undefeated, she is bringing in a prize freshman named Joyce Edwards. And in the exhibition against Memphis, Joyce Edwards, I believe, had a double-double.
Yep.
Here is Dawn, let's get cut to, Tyler, talking about her prize freshman, Joyce Edwards.
Be a star. Like, she's a star. She's been a star her entire life. I don't think it changes because of where she is. Joyce Edwards is going to impact the game on both sides of the basketball. And, you know, she's incredibly smart. She's high IQ. She's high energy. She's high competition. And her expectations for herself is only to be the very best. Her practice and her preparation is that. So you'll probably see her get upset when she misses a shot. It's because she puts so much into the game that she surprises herself when she misses. So, I mean, when you have a player with that kind of zest and feel and gift, you exploit all of it. And I know that we're not just going to play in one position. We'll play in multiple positions, and she's very capable of doing that.
Yeah, she's going to move around. She's got an interesting skill set. Again, another local recruit for Dawn. You know, again, that's the lineage continues of high-level recruits for Dawn Staley coming out of the state of South Carolina.
Well, I mean, and we talked about this yesterday. You know, Asia Wilson getting her jersey retired, coming up in in February when they take on Auburn. Obviously, she already has a statue and was kind of the beginning point for this legacy run that Gamecock women's basketball has been on. And a lot of people look at Joyce Edwards as kind of like that next woman, like Aaliyah Boston from a couple years ago, and so on and so forth, that's going to lead this program or continue on the path of what this program's been on for the past couple years. As they are the true dynasty of women's basketball right now.
The only thing you're missing, obviously, you'd love to have Camila Cardozo back for another year.
Yeah, you don't have that size on this team.
You don't have that big. You can just throw the ball in. They're posting up, and you can create offense from there. You don't have it.
Watching Cardozo, especially when they're playing like non-conference stuff at the beginning of the season against the Western Carolinas, whoever, it wasn't fair.
Yeah.
It really was. It was literally a grown woman playing with children is what it looked like.
It was like, when you see this sometimes, some dad or some mom playing in the park with their kids, like a game of anything, and the kids are all jumping all over them, and they're just keep going, and the kids are hanging off of them. That's what it looked like.
If you're, how do you scheme that up if you're the other team? You can't beat size.
No,
you either have it or you don't.
And the thing about that too is, okay, if you're going to, let's say you double down on her, guess what? Now somebody's open.
Right.
So it was a pick your poison kind of thing with Cardozo. You don't have that this year, but you have a bunch of different type of players who can win off the dribble, win off the bounce. They're shot makers, they're creators. So it's just going to be a little bit different for Dawn Staley without that big that anchored in the post for you on offense.
Well, and this is an instance minus Camila Cardozo. You didn't really lose a whole lot from last year. You have Fagan and Kitts and Pow Pow and Raven Johnson, all those returning to your starting lineup. You got another year of Malaysia Fulwiley, who obviously set the world on fire in her freshman year. You bring in a Joyce Edwards, and there's just so much returning to this team and so much promise coming in as well. No reason to think they aren't once again going to be the team to beat in women's basketball.
Yep, and you'll see what happens with Watkins. That's an off-the-court issue that's got to get resolved in some way, shape, or form, because she was your defensive stopper in the paint. So we'll see where it goes. All right, so that's Dawn Staley. We'll get some more Dawn cuts from Carolina calls last night with Brad Muller. You heard that right here on the game in Columbia and also in Myrtle Beach. In case you missed it, Andy Dalton and the family were in a car accident. Everybody's okay.
Yeah.
Everybody's okay. But Dalton hurt his finger. So he can't start Sunday. So guess who's going to start on Sunday? Here's David Canales talking about that Bryce Young fella who's going to get the gig again this coming up weekend.
And a scary moment for sure. Everyone was okay. Everyone was healthy. Unfortunately, in the accident, he did sprain his thumb. So Bryce will be playing this week for us, and we'll be evaluating Andy day to day going into this weekend to see if we can get him up as the 2 on game day.
There you go. So Bryce Young will roll him back out there on the field and get another start for Carolina.
The unfortunate part is, because when they benched Bryce Young for Andy Dalton, we said it was going to be a temporary thing until they felt like Bryce Young had done enough to earn the starting job back.
Mm-hmm.
This is not the best situation because he's not done enough to earn the job back. Andy Dalton just got hurt in this car accident, and now he's saying, okay, well, now we got to give it back over to you. So I don't know if we should be expecting anything different with Bryce Young this time around, despite the fact that he's been out for 3 or 4 weeks to focus on getting better at quarterback. I don't know if we're going to see anything different, unfortunately.
Remember Sunday, the Panthers once again got boat raced by Washington. Andy Dalton struggled through, 3 picks, I believe, in the game.
Look, he had the one good game against the Raiders, and it just kind of declined from there.
Since then, it's been getting worse almost every week. And David Canales said after the game that Andy Dalton was still the starter.
Mm-hmm.
So this wasn't even like Bryce Young was going to get a chance to take the gig back after Dalton's bad performance last Sunday.
Right.
Because Canales still was going to start Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
So kind of taking your point to another level, this isn't like, wow, Bryce Young has really worked hard in practice. He showed us a lot of positives. He's been sitting back and learning. We feel like it's his time to start again. No, you're going to start Dalton this coming up Sunday until the car accident.
No, Bryce Young became the second option when the pretty girl tells you no when you ask her out. You look at the other girl and say, well, I guess I'm stuck with you.
So Andy Dalton's the pretty girl in this scenario?
Andy Dalton's the pretty girl in this scenario, which I know that's not the most ringing endorsement for him, but Bryce Young is the lesser option of the two.
He's not as good looking as Andy Dalton right now?
He's not as good looking as Andy Dalton, unfortunately. Okay. It's the spiky red hair.
Well, the red rifle. I mean, come on. What can you say? All right, so that's the deal in Carolina, and we'll see if Bryce Young's time away for the first time in his football life that he was benched and got to watch from the sideline. We'll see if it helps him, Tyler.
Well, and you and I talked about this earlier. This is your audition. I don't know if you're going to be a Carolina Panther going forward. They might end up trading you. But if you want to stick around this league, what you do and however many games you get to start from here on out is your true audition tape, because some other team out there may see something in you, say, you know what? He's not in a good organization right now, doesn't have a lot of things around him. If we get him in our system, we can make this work. We've seen that with plenty of quarterbacks over the years that we thought were dead in the water. They just had to get the right coach or the right program around them. And maybe Bryce Young, maybe that's what he needs. We'll see.
Well, the thing with Bryce Young in this scenario is you don't have to go light the world on fire. You just got to be better than you were.
Just make smart decisions.
Right.
Don't turn the football over. I mean, kind of like what we talk about with the North Sellers. Just play a good, easy, mistake-free game.
That's all you got to do. If you've shown that you have improved from when you were benched, that's all people want to see. And by the way, really low bar.
Very low bar.
Very low bar.
Just go out there, throw for 200 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions, and complete more than 65% of your passes. We'll consider that a win.
Yeah. It's a very low, buried underneath the ground bar for Bryce Young. One more here. Did you see this last night? The Clippers have a new arena.
Right.
The Intuit Arena, I believe.
Yeah.
And
let's face it, they never belonged in Crypto.com Arena is what they call it now, Staples Center.
The Lakers were their daddy.
Yeah,
Let's just be honest. So they got their own arena now, and they built something really cool. It's called The Wall.
Okay.
Where you go to shoot a free throw. It's almost like old school. Like Utah State kind of had something like this in college basketball where they had like a wall of students that would get up and do all sorts of crazy stuff when you try and hit a free throw. Of
course.
Well, now the Clippers have this built. There's like season ticket holders and super fans of the team and all this. And they have this big thing. It looks like just a wall of people. And they went at it last night. And their goal is to, again, screw with you at the free throw line.
Right.
They got Kevin Durant last night. 88% free throw shooter is Durant. And Durant missed 2 free throws. And Durant even said after the game, he goes, it's going to take some getting used to, man. Yeah. I love it.
Listen.
I think it's cool.
It injects some personality into the NBA.
Yeah.
Look, when we talk about the NBA can be a very stale product at times, and this is something fun. I like that.
It's 51 uninterrupted rows of seats. The first 13 rows are filled with Clippers diehard fans. By the way, whose fandom was vetted by the franchise beforehand. I don't know how you vet super fandom. The fans in those first 13 rows are expected to stand and chant the entire game and create an atmosphere similar to a college student section. Yeah. I love this.
Also, I think it's pretty neat. They also have the Halo video board, which I've never seen inside of a basketball arena. Yeah. Like Mercedes-Benz has one, but like that's actually pretty neat to see inside. Very cool.
All right, so there you go. That's what's going on in case you just woke up here on the game. Terry Ford, Tyler Head, halftime show. We'll get your Firehouse sub text of the hour and hit our Twitter X poll next, right here on the game in Columbia, Florence, and Myrtle Beach. 107.5 The Game app and the Game TV.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Andrew Perloff with a Sports Minute. The 76ers have not done a good job of communicating what's going on with Joel Embiid. He missed the opener, and the NBA is investigating them for load management. It's a bad look for the Sixers and bad for the NBA. This was a big ESPN game last night, and it was a dud. The league has tried, but it still has no way to compel the stars to actually show up. I'm Andrew Perloff.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BODY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful fat incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 42424. That's BODY to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
It's time for mortgage protection with Preston and your top broker, Benji Getzy from Buford Lending. Rates continue to fall. Hey, Benji, give us this week's Mortgage Minute.
6 straight weeks of declining rates and a Fed rate cut. Now is the time. VA 30-year fixed, 4.9%, APR 5.2. And the VA IRRRL, no income, no appraisal, close in 10 days, 4.8%, APR 5.1. 30-year conventional looking good, 5.5%, APR 5.8. Second home, investors, 6.3%, APR 6.7. And the DSCR, fix and flip financing, 6.9%, APR 7.3. And don't forget construction lending. Call for details. Thanks for shopping your rate with Buford Lending. We want to be your broker. Rate subject to change, equal housing lender, credit restrictions apply. NMLS 1703543.
For more information on how Benji and his team at Buford Lending can help you, visit them online at buford.mortgage or call 843-524-2404.
It's football season, and Uber Eats is dropping undefeated deals on all your game day favorites. This week, score buy one, get one free spicy chicken sandwiches from Wendy's, only on Uber Eats. Craving even more? We've got you covered with game day deals on pizza, burgers, tacos, and more all season long. Uber Eats, official on-demand food delivery partner of the NFL. Order now. Terms, taxes, and fees apply. See app for details.
Meet Cheryl. Hey. She's on vacation and lost in the moment. Unfortunately, so is her Chase debit card.
It's gotta be somewhere.
Maybe she lost it at salsa night.
These skirts should have pockets.
Or maybe she lost it at Pilates.
3 and 2 and...
But she's not worried. With the Chase mobile app, she can lock her card till it turns up. Tools that help protect. One bank that puts you in control. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
halftime show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the halftime show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app. And now it's time to give away something that we think is really great from the game.
All right, it's time to give away that's something. Pair of tickets.
I love how open-ended that is.
That's what,
something.
You know what? Something could be anything.
Maybe it's tickets. Maybe it's a T-shirt. Maybe it's a sandwich we didn't want.
I was going to say, we got a stapler sitting here.
You got
never
half
know.
a cup of coffee over there. Maybe it's that.
Could be anything. This time it's basketball tickets. The opener, November 4th, 7 p.m., I believe, is tip at
Correct.
CLA. Lamont Paris and the men taking on North Florida. Ring us up right now, 803-404-6100. We'll take caller number 5. Make it easy. Caller number 5 gets a pair of tickets to go check out the Gamecocks and North Florida Monday night, 7 o'clock at CLA, the men's home opener. Give us a ring right now. We'll get to our Firehouse Sub Text the Hour here in just a second. You got it right now?
I do have it right now.
Go for it.
We talked about manual labor being in the show. Hunter says, I listen every day while operating an excavator clearing land. So I thought about this, right? We did our little thing with Corey last week when it came to picking games against the spread and all that kind of stuff. We had to decide the punishment for the loser. I think going forward, if you lose, you should have to go operate that excavator with Hunter.
I will. If I lose, Hunter's going, I don't want that guy near my excavator. What are you, nuts? I will go operate the excavator. At first, I can't say it right. The excavator. Which we have to get on video just to humiliate me even further. We'll have to put it up on our social media, watching me try to operate an excavator, which could be dangerous to a lot of people's health. Hunter, appreciate you texting there. And hey, man, work that excavator, my friend. Escalator. I think it's an escalator. Listen to me. Wow. By the way, before we get to the Firehouse Subtext the Hour, today there is a Board of Trustees meeting. And one of the items on the agenda is approval of Williams-Brice Stadium Development Project. And obviously we're going to hear more about this moving forward. What are they going to do? Because again, how are you, what is going to be the final result of expanding or improving Williams-Brice? That is, what's going to happen on that patch of land. Is it just going to be luxury boxes? Is it going? Which way are you going with your improvements to Williams-Brice? So hopefully we'll find out something about that today. All right. Our Twitter X poll question. The one from yesterday was interesting about the men's basketball team and what your expectation is for this year. And it was about 50-50 of folks saying, I'd just like to see them get back to the NCAA tournament, and folks saying they want to see them get to the second weekend of the NCAA tournament, because last year they got to the dance. It was about 50-50. Myself, my expectation for the basketball team, just get back to the tournament. Start stacking trips to the NCAA tournament. That to me, then you can build from there of saying, okay, now you go, let's get to the second weekend, let's get to the Sweet 16. Last year they were one and done in the tournament. So get in, maybe get yourself a W this year, get to the second round, baby steps. You're trying to build and develop the foundation of a program that can be a perennial NCAA tournament team or competing to be in the NCAA tournament year after year.
And Ken Palm has not updated the numbers just yet, and I know you lost B.J. Mack, you lost Talon Cooper, you lost a lot of experience from the team a year ago. Michi Johnson obviously transferred to Ohio State. But I imagine, much like last year, this South Carolina team is going to be one of the more experienced ones in the country. Maybe not as high as they were last year, because I think they were like in the top 30 in total experience last year.
Very experienced last year.
But this is still a pretty darn experienced team, which is what Lamont Paris really likes. You go back to that Chattanooga team they took to the tournament before coming to South Carolina, a very experienced team. Like, this is falling in line roster-wise with what he has or what he likes to be successful with.
Yeah, the one freshman that's really going to get run, obviously, is Cam Scott.
Yes.
And then you've got experience everywhere. I mean, Thomas comes in very experienced, most likely be your point guard. Jacoby Wright's been around for 10 or 15 years, it feels like. Colin Murray-Boyle's a sophomore coming back.
Nick Pringle.
Pringle is
from
experienced from Bama. You got Miles Studi, who's been around for a long time, Vandy, and then last year here at South Carolina. You got a lot of dudes who have a lot of games under their belt. So it is going to be interesting just how the year plays itself out. But, yeah, again, you're going to be experienced for the most part. All right, the other Twitter X poll, this is for today. Just started up here a little while ago. Poll question of the day. Which one-loss SEC team has the best chance of still winning the conference championship? It's interesting because you have 5 teams with one loss in the SEC.
Yep.
You have Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, and Vandy. Now, for the purpose of the poll, we could only put 4 on there, so we had to leave out Georgia. No, we had to leave out Vandy.
Right.
So out of Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri, obviously Georgia right now is the runaway leader at 78% of the vote. Texas has 21%, Tennessee 1%, Missouri has actually 0% of the vote. None of that surprises me, by the way.
No, not at all.
No. So we have almost 600 views on it, 90 votes. It'll be going on until almost this time tomorrow. So please feel free to jump in on our Twitter X poll of the day. And if I was picking again, I would take Georgia. No-brainer there.
Sure.
It's going to be interesting to watch Texas now. Texas has gotten their introduction to the SEC truly last Saturday.
No, for sure. I don't know. I think LSU's got the inside track to make it to Atlanta personally.
Look, they're undefeated. This game in College Station is going to be something.
Yeah, it is.
LSU is a top 40 defense now in efficiency. Their offense obviously is really good.
Garrett Nussmeier is probably the best quarterback in the league so far this year.
And no one's talking about Garrett Nussmeier.
Exactly.
He's having a heck of a year. All right, football in the 1 o'clock hour. More from Shane on the SEC Network. That is coming up here on the halftime show on The Game.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
The Gamecock men's basketball season is almost here. Season tickets start as low as $90. For more information and to secure your season tickets today, visit thegamecockclub.com/MBB. We can't wait to see you at Colonial Life Arena this season.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy, where the winning is only beginning. South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
I'm Russell Ott. If you're like most people I talk to, you're just tired of the nonsense in politics. It's getting harder and harder to really know where candidates stand on the issues. Politicians seem to pledge their allegiance to parties rather than people. All the silly games do nothing to help families and businesses that are struggling to pay the bills. It's time to push back on politics as usual and get back to common sense solutions that work. That's how we create a stronger South Carolina. I'm Russell Ott, and I'm asking for your vote for state senate so I can get to work for you.
Paid for by Ott for Senate.
Hey, this is Ray and Nathan with Pope Davis Tire Automotive.
Anyone else have an irrational fear that when you get a flat tire, a creepy clown will show up to help?
Skip the nightmare and come to Pope Davis for free flat repairs until Halloween.
We will make sure you don't have a killer trip.
Free flat repairs, no clowning around.
And if you need a great price on tires, we've got your back without the balloons.
Find the right tire at the right price at PopeDavisTire.com.
Did you know that Gerber Life Guaranteed Life Insurance provides valuable whole life insurance protection to help cover your final expenses? It's true, and it can help with expenses such as medical bills, burial costs, and unpaid debts. It helps protect your family from the financial burden of your final expenses. If you're 50 plus or 50 to 75 in New York, your life insurance acceptance is guaranteed with this policy, regardless of your health history. There are no medical exams to complete or lengthy health questionnaires to fill out. Simply visit GerberLifeFamily.com. And premiums don't increase over time. The amount you pay when coverage begins is the same amount you'll pay throughout the duration of your policy. Just answer 4 easy questions to get your free personalized quote instantly by visiting GerberLifeFamily.com. See website for terms and restrictions. That's GerberLifeFamily.com. Again, that's GerberLifeFamily.com.
Bill Gunner for Dr. Dan Balknight and the Men's Clinic. Getting older is never fun. You start experiencing some symptoms that you're not accustomed to. Maybe it's brain fog. Maybe it's low energy level. Maybe it's lack of drive and motivation. But at the Men's Clinic, Dr. Dan Balknight is ready to help you with an individualized treatment that will treat your needs. So give them a phone call today, 803-875-MENS. Again, that's 803-875-MENS, or visit them on the web for more information, mensclinicsc.com.
I'm Fritz Drescher, owner of Atlantic Windows and Doors. We've been in the Columbia area for over 40 years and have been your trusted partner in enhancing home comfort, beauty, and energy efficiency. How do we do it? By delivering top-notch product from the nation's leading window and door manufacturers. Expect superior style, tailored to your needs, unmatched quality, and unbeatable value. Plus, our dedicated team handles installation. No third-party contractors. Discover more at awdsc.com.
Honey, would you take a seat? I have a confession to make.
What is it? What's wrong?
Well, I was out driving today and I saw some hookers on the side of the road. A bunch of huge, professional, beautiful-looking hookers. So I did what I was supposed to do. I slowed down and I moved over.
You slowed down for the hookers?
Well, yeah, it's the law. There was a whole fleet of Schroeder's towing trucks assisting with an accident. Wait, what did you think I was talking about?
Schroeder's Towing reminds you to slow down and move over for all first responders.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
WNKT FM Eastover, Columbia.
Congrats to the Gamecocks women on another national championship.
A Cumulus media station.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
Not feeling like yourself? Call the Men's Clinic at 803-875-MENS.
It's 1 o'clock. That means football. Football. And more football on the Halftime Show.
Is sponsored by Atlantic Window and Door. Go to awdsc.com.
On the Game Network and the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head. We do football in the 1 o'clock hour. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on the Game. Of course, South Carolina off this week. They'll get back at it the following week against Texas A&M. A&M hosting a huge game against LSU at College Station this Saturday. And if you take a look at the slate of games in the SEC, Tyler, we'll get to some Shane Beamer here in just a minute. He was on the SEC Network. Melissa Lang and Randall Cobb, that show, right?
That's correct. Out of pocket.
Out of pocket. We're going to get a Shane cut here in just
which, by the way,
or two.
Randall Cobb has like piercing eyes. I don't know if you ever
I haven't watched
him on
the show
TV.
yet. No. Really? Piercing eyes?
Yeah.
You can't take your eyes off of him?
Because he looks directly at the camera when he's talking.
Is it weird and uncomfortable?
A little bit.
Like he's staring right at you.
It really feels that way.
Hey, you start walking around and his eyes start following you?
I was going to say, is like this what Aaron Rodgers dealt with in the huddle all those years?
Nobody wanted him on every team he played on.
Right.
All right, so we'll get to Shane here in a minute, and we'll have you, Tyler, fire up cut 15 about the freshman here in a second. But if you look at the SEC, obviously the LSU A&M game comes off as the biggest game of the weekend, the two undefeated teams in conference. Couple of interesting, but the Missouri-Alabama game, even though Missouri's got one loss, it feels like an elimination game because Missouri has not been very impressive so far. Now, again, it can change. Missouri was tore it up second half of last year. Missouri has not been very impressive. Alabama's got two losses. If Alabama loses at home to Missouri, first of all, Kalen DeBoer needs to leave town.
Yeah.
But number two, 3 losses, unless, like we talked about earlier, chaos ensues, you're out.
Right. And look, if Missouri was coming into this game healthy, I'd feel like they have a decent chance, but they're going to be without Brady Cook, going to be without Nate Newell. I don't think they have the power. It could still be a close game, but I don't think they have the power to overcome it against Alabama.
I just think not having, and I know Brady Cook hasn't been as good this year as he was last year, but still not having your starting quarterback, your veteran starting quarterback going into Tuscaloosa, you're number one.
Well, I mean, they had to pull him off the operating table last week to lead that comeback against Auburn.
Well, they had to sew his leg back on or his ankle or whatever. That was so weird. He just goes down. Non-contact, goes down.
Right.
Gets up, limps off the field like, somebody took a Ginsu to his leg.
Like somebody shot him in the ankle.
Goes down the tunnel. They say he jumped into an ambulance and went off to the hospital, urgent care, whatever, and then comes back and not only plays, but is running around the field like a banshee.
Yeah.
It's like he never was hurt. Very weird.
talked about that.
Very weird.
Sometimes you get a little something that helps you forget about the pain for the rest of the game.
What could that be?
Because now we're halfway through the week and he's not playing this weekend, so that pain came back.
Something tells me yes. They Dr. Painkiller showed up to help him get through the game on Saturday.
Hey, it worked.
It did. He played really well.
Well, which on the flip side of things is if things weren't going bad enough on the Plains, Hugh Freeze like, did we just get beat by a quarterback with one leg? Yeah, you did.
And speaking of Hugh Freeze, of course, Freeze was talking about they can't play. They're playing not to lose when they get leads. The other thing about Auburn this year is they've led the SEC in turnovers.
Oh, they're bad.
They just turned the rock over. They also lead in explosive plays, though. It's a very bizarre mix.
It's very feast or famine. Like, here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
I will say Peyton Thorne has actually gotten better at throwing the ball down the field.
Mm-hmm.
It's just sometimes that ball goes to the other team.
Right. And they will go to Lexington to take on a Kentucky team that is, for the most, besides playing Georgia close and being Ole Miss, Kentucky has been very underwhelming this year.
This is the game of who gets the heat turned up on them more after the loss, because Kentucky has been underwhelming. Yeah, they played that tight game against Georgia, but they got completely run over by DJ Lagway in Florida the last time out, which is should not happen, especially with how good we usually think the Kentucky defense is. I think a lot of people out there in Lexington are getting uncomfortable with Mark Stoops as of right now, and obviously the conversation around Hugh Freeze ongoing down there in Auburn. So one of these coaches is going to feel the heat turn up after this game.
Well, with Stoops, and this is the thing that is interesting in the offseason, for whatever direction that came from, the Stoops flirting with A&M or the A&M flirting with Stoops.
It was so bizarre.
It's like, you went off and you're married. You go off and flirt with the neighbor lady, and then you come back to your wife. You're just not picking up like you were.
Yeah, there is clearly an issue here.
Yeah, and now you're on. So first of all, ready? You come back to your wife, and then you lose your job.
Yeah.
And now, she has to go to work, a second job. So not only did you come back, she's not happy with that, but now you're forcing her into more of an uncomfortable life than she had. That's what Kentucky is right now. Not only does Stoops come back, which changes your dynamic with the Kentucky fan base and the administration, but now you're underachieving this year.
Right.
So the patience level isn't what it usually would be for Mark Stoops at Kentucky right now.
Right.
And the thing about the A&M flirtation that, first of all, he was a terrible fit. That would have been a terrible fit. Two, he has it so good at Kentucky, or had it so good at Kentucky. One of the highest paid coaches, not only in the SEC, but in the country, right?
Yeah. Longest tenured coach in the SEC.
And everybody sits back and says, well, the only gig he's going to leave for is Iowa, because that's where he played.
Of course.
And they'll be fine with him, being who he is. They don't care.
They've been stuck in 1970 since 99 with Ferris.
I mean, let's face it. Stoops would be kind of like shiny new stuff, like modern.
This guy's an innovative mind.
Woo! So he throws the ball every now and then. But what Stoops did by that, and look, was it just to try to get another contract extension out of Kentucky? Whatever it was, it's gotten him on the sour side of part of that fan base and the administration there.
Of course.
Just has.
Well, and, think about this from the perspective of an A&M fan, and this happened on the last Saturday of the regular season, and, we were at the Carolina-Clemson game. I remember walking out as we're talking about this rumor, like, that just seems so
it was weird,
bizarre. And then by that point in the night, because Kentucky had beaten Louisville earlier in that day, which was an upset. Louisville won the ACC championship game. They were a ranked team. And we're just like, this doesn't seem like a good fit, right? And the A&M fans were already revolting, which ended up kind of being the reason why this didn't come to fruition. And now if you're an A&M fan, you are sitting at number 14. You've lost one game this year, undefeated in conference play, and you're about to play in the biggest game of the SEC this upcoming weekend with still all the goals of maybe going to Atlanta still ahead of you.
Yeah.
Boy, you dodged a bullet, didn't you?
Yeah, and look, to me, I always have to say this. I think Mark Stoops is a good, solid football coach. Do I think he's an upper-level guy where if you just put him at an A&M or someplace with all these resources and all this stuff that he would pop and be like next-level guy? No. I think he is who he is, right? This A&M this A&M Stoops thing just never made any sense from either side, to be honest. Because, yeah, you can go get paid a ton of money at A&M, but there's also a ton of expectations. They got a creepy yell squad. They do all sorts of weird things during games. There's 100,000 people there, and they're not waiting for basketball, by the way.
No, their basketball has been good, but that's not their primary objective.
Right. So you're taking yourself out of a nice cushy hammock in the backyard and throwing yourself into a pit of snakes.
Yeah.
Basically.
Yeah.
And I just didn't think that was right for Stoops. And for A&M, if you're looking to achieve on a high level, that's not the guy to hire.
No.
None of it made any sense.
No.
All right, so we look at Auburn because Hugh Freeze, look, you can never, ever, ever, ever try to put logic in a sentence with Auburn fans or Auburn boosters.
Yeah.
Freeze last year, they stumbled their way into a bowl game. Everybody said, "Well, Freeze did much better than we thought he was going to do in year one." Well, can't wait for year two. Well, Freeze, remember, he took over ownership of the offense. Everybody said, yeah, you fixed that. That Montgomery guy, it was all his fault, the OC.
You had your scapegoat in year number one.
And then Hugh Freeze decides he wants Peyton Thorne for another year. I don't know what the blackmail photos are, but he did. Well, you've seen this thing has not gone well. Auburn is sitting at 0-4 in conference, 2-5 overall. And here's the rest of the year. At Kentucky, you lose that one.
Yeah.
Home to Vandy.
We'll see.
We'll see. You should beat Louisiana Monroe.
No promises. New Mexico State, remember?
Exactly. Then A&M at home and at Bama. This could get really ugly down the end for Hugh Freeze.
I was talking about this yesterday with the guy Dimitri, who, of course, is an Alabama alum and has no problem talking about the downfall of Auburn football. And, he said, because remember, Hugh Freeze left after 2016, 17, whatever year his last year at Ole Miss was, where he was still thought of as a high-end offensive mind that was very innovative, doing things that not everybody was doing. Well, in the time since, when he's been at Liberty and all that kind of stuff, the game's caught up to where what he's doing on offense is not this radically new thing. Everybody's running RPOs. Everybody is doing the things that he was doing at Ole Miss 10 years ago with Bo Wallace and Chad Kelly that was really throwing people for a loop. Now it's not. Now you're just another run-of-the-mill offensive coordinator. It's not special. It's not setting yourself apart, and you're seeing that now. And again, he probably thought, well, you know what? I'm going to work with Peyton Thorne myself, and he's going to turn into a superstar. And he's gotten a little bit better, but he's still turning the ball over.
Yeah. What's your plan B, Hugh? You're at plan A work, but now everybody's doing your plan A. What's your plan B?
Your plan B was Hank Brown, and sure, he looked good about whatever slappy they played that one week, but then he turned the ball over the next week.
Yeah, I look at it like it's sort of like Chip Kelly. Chip Kelly played fast.
Yeah. Oh, he had the innovative, fast-paced offense that nobody could figure out.
Well, guess what?
Everybody figured it out.
So what was your plan B?
Yeah.
Chip? Hadn't been very impressive.
And similarly to him, he went to the NFL and tried to institute a system to a bunch of professionals said, I don't want to do that.
Well, and then the NFL went, you're not doing that.
Exactly. And then he comes back to college at UCLA, and people are like, oh, the game's caught up to us now, and I'm not doing anything special.
So again, when you're a one-trick pony, what's your next trick?
Right.
And we're in Auburn. Look, if this thing craters at Auburn this year, Hugh Freeze, there's no guarantee you get year 3.
Right.
There's just no guarantee at Auburn. All right, Shane Beamer talking to Alyssa Lang and the creepy eyes of Randall Cobb on the SEC network. I believe it was yesterday morning, right?
Yesterday afternoon.
Yesterday afternoon. Here's Shane talking about his freshmen, Mazeo Bennett, and the rest of the crew of these youngins who have come in to help out South Carolina so far this year.
Yeah, great question. In regards to Mazeo, he's just got a unbelievable competitive spirit. And I remember when we were recruiting him, Alyssa, his team came down here for a 7-on-7 camp here at our football facility. And just watching him in that environment when he's on his team competing against another team, it was almost like a switch flipped, and it was like a different Mazeo, just the competitive spirit. And then you see that all the time when he takes the field. He's just got that competitive spirit, mentality that you want in a player, and it shows on the field in the run game and the pass game. And then overall with this freshman class, they're really talented, first of all. These are guys that we've been recruiting for a while now and that are now freshmen that we've developed relationships with. And I think the thing with this class, maybe compared to other classes that we've brought in, is just the expectation level that they have as individuals, but also just as a team. I can remember our very first team meeting that we had back in January, and I made reference to a bowl game And after the meeting, Dylan Stewart pulled me aside, and he's a freshman that's been on our campus for like 48 hours at this point. And he pulled me aside and he's like, hey man, like we got higher expectations around here now than just going to a bowl game. And for a freshman to say that hadn't even been here for 2 days, kind of talks about their mindset and what their expectation levels are for us as a team, but also them as individuals and what they're doing right now. Doesn't surprise us. And then you talk about Mazio and Dylan Stewart, but there's a lot of freshmen. I mean, Michael Smith is starting as a true freshman at tight end. Josiah Thompson's starting as a true freshman at left tackle. Fred Johnson's a linebacker that's playing a ton of snaps for us. So we really like this group. David Busey is a freshman that's one of our best special teams players. So it's just a really good freshman class and excited to watch them continue to get better.
I love Dylan Stewart after the meeting. Hey, Bob, come here a minute. We want to do better than the bleeping bowl game, Bob. Just want to let you know.
Like the mindset.
Shane, that's your name, right? Yeah. Dude, bowl game shooting kind of low. I love that. I think it's great. I do. And Mazio Bennett, remember, we played the Mazio Bennett cut after the heartbreaking loss to Bam. He's like, we won't feel like this anymore. We won't put a stop to this mess. We want to win these games. So, talented freshman. It feels like you got some guys with the right mindset moving forward. All right, halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler here. We'll get more from Shane on the SEC Network yesterday. Football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. On the Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Hate paying for streaming? One more thing you got to stream and pay for? Well, the Game app is, wait for it, free.
It's free! It's free! It's free!
Yes, all you got to do is go to iTunes or Google Play and download the 107.5 The Game app and listen for nothing in all respects of the word. Nothing. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
All right, so you work in the manufacturing business. Would you like to maybe, find a new gig that has a very competitive compensation and benefit package? How about some quarterly, hourly bonuses? Very friendly employee time off program? How about a 401k match or paid parental leave? If you're looking for that, you got a 1 year of manufacturing experience, a high school diploma, and a GED. Winland Foods, the American Italian Pasta Company, is hiring. They have openings, industrial, multi-craft maintenance techs, press operators, packaging operators. Again, high school diploma, GED, 1 year manufacturing experience. If you are going, I'd like to check that out, then go to www.winlandfoods.com/careers. Again, winlandfoods.com/careers. They're located off I-77, Pineview Drive between Shop and Garner's Ferry. Again, winlandfoods.com/careers. Change it up. Winland Foods.
This is Larry Leitner, owner and founder of Midstate Roofing, and for nearly 30 years, we've continued to be the proven leader in the roofing and waterproofing industry. Midstate Roofing's proven history is your assurance that our professionals at Midstate Roofing will provide the proper advice, service, and results to the needs of your facility in a manner both safe and pleasing to your operation. From high-rise to hospitals, manufacturing to industrial, Midstate Roofing designs and installs bonded systems with a protective guarantee that will keep your operation dry and running long into the future. 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.
And this is Blake Leitner, reminding you to protect that roof with a maintenance contract. Call me today at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. That's midstateroofing.com.
You'll speak to an on-call technician after hours or a Midstate Roofing staff member during hours at 803-356-1919 or online at midstateroofing.com. And as always, tell them Midstate Twins.
If you have a leak, let Midstate Roofing take a peek.
Firehouse Subs, hook and ladder jingle, take one.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Warm that smoky turkey, that thin slice.
Guys, this is a 30-second ad. You gotta sing faster.
Hook and ladder, when it's hot, it just tastes better. Melty cheese and toast bread, mustard, mayo, purpose bread, lettuce, green, and onion. The sandwich is too big for the song. It's too big.
The Hook and Ladder, available only at participating Firehouse Subs restaurants.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
They say perfection is a journey, and at Carolina Stone Craftsman, that journey leads us to just outside Columbia in Chapin. Our marble, our granite, our quartz, they're sculpted with the highest craftsmanship, owned with family values, and delivered with professional results. Explore the craftsmanship of each slab, see all our new showroom has to offer, and experience our custom hardscapes. Crafted to perfection, experience Carolina Stone Craftsman's workmanship. Take us for granted. Your journey to perfection starts with us, Carolina Stone Craftsman, just beyond Columbia and Chapin and beyond your expectations. CarolinaStoneCraftsman.com.
Trans-Siberian Orchestra, the rock holiday tradition returns. December 12th, Colonial Life Arena, Columbia. Tickets on sale now at LiveNation.com. Bring the whole family to the all-new show. Soaring guitars, dazzling lasers, and enough pyro to keep you warm all season. Don't miss Trans-Siberian Orchestra, presented by Live Nation.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line
at 803-404-6100. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
Well, welcome back in. It is the Halftime Show. Tyler Head and Terry Ford along with you on your Thursday here on The Game, making our way through the 1 o'clock hour. As always, with football, and more football. Again, Shane Beamer last night was on Out of Pocket on the SC Network with Alyssa Lang and Randall Cobb, kind of talking about a number of things, assessing where Carolina sits at this point, during the season, going into your second bye week. And, of course, the main conversation around this team centers around what's happening with the defense. Of course, that's led by Clayton White. And Coach Beamer yesterday was asked about the progress that Coach White has made with this defense this season, especially compared to where it was a year ago.
Yeah, he's got a veteran group around him, but still stressed because we're still playing freshmen on the defense at linebacker, and then obviously Dylan Stewart's a true freshman, so they have their freshman moment. But, Clayton's done an amazing play. He's a great person. He's a great coach. He's going to be an unbelievable head coach in my mind one of these days. He's just got a great pulse with everyone around him. He works his rear end off. And we played good defense down the stretch last season and finished out the season strong. And then we had so much of that group coming back in 2024. We knew we needed to get better at being able to rush the passer and affect the other team's quarterback. And we've been able to do that, bringing in Kyle Kennard and Dylan Stewart, and then the other guys at that edge position being a year older. But Clayton, just unbelievable coach for us and great resource for me personally, and glad he's with us, and he's got that defense playing at a high level. But he also is not comfortable by any stretch of the imagination. Humility is a week away. We know that.
Oh yeah, and we've been talking about this here ever since. Well, really, the Oklahoma game pushed us over the top with, oh my gosh, this defense.
Right.
And if you look at the numbers again, Clayton's not out here doing exotic blitzes and setting the house every down. I mean, they do blitz. It's not like they don't, but they're not blitzing a ton because they don't have to.
Right.
And really the sweet spot of defense, especially pass defense, if you can rush 4, drop 7, and still make quarterbacks uncomfortable and fear for their life, you're good. And, plus then when you do blitz, you're blitzing guys like, Knight and Bam Martin Scott and Debo. And these are athletic dudes who, can get to a quarterback in a pretty speedy manner. So you've really got, your pass rush has just gone up so much. You know what else too, Tyler? When you're dialing up a defense and you've got these guys, man, you look smarter.
Mm-hmm.
You just do. And look, Clayton's a good defensive coordinator. Last year, though, obviously you had to change up what you were doing because what you typically like to do didn't work. So you had to change everything up in November, and then you picked up some traction. Then you added Kennard and Stewart and Knight and some others through the transfer portal. And then all of a sudden, wow, look at this thing. So give Clayton White a lot of thumbs up. And I think sometimes again, the smart thing to do at times is do nothing. Rush 4, drop 7. My guys are better than your guys. Sometimes it's very easy. Sometimes we overthink the room, my man. We just do. Sometimes it's really simple.
Yeah, and again, it goes back to sometimes you just need the right personnel to make things happen. And again, you struggled on defense a lot last year until that final month of the regular season, and we went out there in the offseason and addressed your needs in the portal and obviously brought in some guys like Dylan Stewart via the recruiting class as well. And again, like Shane Beamer alluded to, Clayton White has a chance to become a head coach at some point. Maybe it's this offseason. Who knows? But he's certainly garnered a lot of attention, rightfully so, for what this defense has done. And I brought the numbers yesterday. The seismic jump they've made in just about every major statistical category is pretty crazy.
Mm-hmm. With all that, everybody was spending their time, throwing bouquets at the Oklahoma defense going into that game last Saturday. And we sat here and went over the numbers. And in a lot of the numbers, South Carolina's defense was better. And we saw Saturday just how good that defense was. I want to go back to the SEC real quick. Football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. Vanderbilt hosts Texas. Texas is coming off the welcome to the SEC, here's your whooping from Georgia.
Right.
Now you're going to go roll to Nashville to play a Vanderbilt team who is 5-2, 2-1 in the league. Might be the best Power 4 story in the country, right?
I saw a tweet this morning from Peter Burns of the SEC Network, and he said he had a list of teams going into this weekend that if they lose, their shot at the playoffs is over. Vanderbilt's on that list.
How funny is
on the
that?
8th week of the regular season. That they should have been off that list in week number 2.
Right.
But they're not.
The only other two teams I put on this list off the top of my head with Vandy is undefeated Pitt in the ACC and undefeated Indiana in the Big Ten. And Indiana flipped their entire team over.
Yeah.
That's nothing but a team of transfer portal guys from Kurt Signetti, who came in from James Madison. I think 37 players went into the portal as soon as Tom Allen was fired.
Right.
But Signetti went, okay. I'm paraphrasing. He basically went, you're not very good anyway. See you, bye. And brought in a ton of transfer portal guys, and Indiana's undefeated. And Pitt, to the surprise of everyone, including probably the players of Pitt, they're undefeated at this point.
Yep. They got a game tonight against Syracuse.
Mm-hmm. And Syracuse has only got one loss.
That's right.
And Pitt has to play Clemson.
Yep.
Before it's all said and done. I think that game's at Pitt also.
I think so.
So Vanderbilt's been a huge surprise. Now, Texas on paper should wax Vanderbilt.
Should.
But you know what?
Just like Alabama should.
I was going to say, a lot of teams should be beating Vanderbilt that aren't.
If Vanderbilt beats Texas, they're going to have to rebuild the half-built stadium because it will not be standing anymore.
Well, are they going to grab the goalposts again and go throw them in the river?
They got, I think they should get the crane that's holding up the video board, and they should just drive that into the river this time.
Absolutely. By the way, one of the coolest scenes is watching those students carrying that goalpost through downtown Nashville.
I think about the probably dozens, if not hundreds, of bachelorette parties that were happening that night in downtown. They're at, Kid Rock's bar or something like that, and they look and they just see this horde of students carrying this giant yellow PVC pipe, wondering what the heck is going on, having no knowledge of what just happened 2 miles up the road.
And all those bachelorettes are sober.
Oh, totally.
Absolutely. I'm so drunk. I'm seeing. I got no more beer for me. No more booze. No more whiskey.
I had the weirdest dream. There were these people carrying this big yellow thing down the middle of Broadway. No, that really happened.
So if Vanderbilt gets off to a nice start, look, Texas can go out there and run them over. If Texas gets first couple drives, I think will tell you which way this game will swing. If Vanderbilt's hanging in there in the first quarter and you see a close game in the first quarter, Vanderbilt could be leading down by a score, nothing, tie game, whatever, then guess what? Strap it up, Texas. Here you go.
When Vanderbilt beat Alabama, if you go back and watch that game, that was a Vanderbilt team with a lot of confidence and swagger. They got off the bus that day legitimately believing they could beat the number one team in the country, and they played like it.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine they're going to have that same kind of moxie coming up tomorrow or Saturday.
2 words, Diego Pavia.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, it's not just one guy because it's the ultimate team sport. But one guy can really help change a mindset.
Oh, sure.
And you brought in a guy again. Nobody cared about him coming out of high school, lightly recruited, went and played at a group of 5 school that no one cared about, but for a really good head coach.
Yep.
And New Mexico State overachieved.
Yeah.
He was part of it. Guy's got attitude. You don't believe me? Ask the New Mexico logo.
Yeah, no, he plays with a chip on his shoulder.
He plays with a lot of chips. And you bring him to Vanderbilt, a school that obviously stinks at football. And he came in and went, stinking's over. Diego's here. And you see where this thing has gone. And if Texas thinks they're going to roll into Nashville and just set the woodshed up automatically on the sideline, nope.
By the way, he so totally strikes me as somebody that would refer to himself in the third person like that.
Absolutely he would.
No,
Diego's here. All right, we'll get back. Here's some more Shane Beamer from the SEC Network yesterday. We'll get to Shane. Let's see, the one cut we haven't gotten to yet. The poise of his quarterback, Lenora Sellers. That's coming next. Football in the 1 o'clock hour. Sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors right here on the halftime show on The Game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
It's back! The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. The pot starts at $100. Every week it increases $100 if Carolina doesn't score a special teams touchdown. But if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown, you could win the pool. Again, just go to 1075thegame.com and register. It's the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest from 1075 The Game.
Mike Rowe here with a quick question. Have you noticed cracks in your drywall, chimney, or exterior walls? I hope not, because if you have, they could be indications that you've got a much bigger problem with your foundation. That's where Mount Valley Foundation Services comes in, a groundworks company. They can honestly assess your situation and create a plan to stabilize your foundation. Schedule your free inspection at fixmyfoundation.com/row, and while you're there, check out my latest dirty job.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Voting is not a privilege, it's your right. A person with a disability deserves full access to the voting process. Disability Rights South Carolina encourages you to head to the polls on November 5th. From curbside voting to tabletop placement for wheelchair accessibility and audio ballot via headphones, voting is for everyone. If you have a disability-related voting problem in South Carolina, call 866-275-7273 or visit disabilityrightssc.com/voting.
If you have tax problems and want to end the frustration of dealing with the IRS, grab a pen and take down this number. Hi, I'm local attorney John Ecton with the Ecton Law Firm, located right here in the Midlands. Let us show you what it takes to solve your tax problems once and for all. The first step, which can be one of the hardest, is to take action. Do something. Call me, set an appointment, and meet with me in person. Your first visit is completely free and confidential, and I'll show you how to take control of the problem. So if you haven't filed your tax returns for years, or facing IRS wage levies, bank levies, or tax liens, call me, John Ecton, at 803-771-9800. That's 803-771-9800. Or go to EctonLawFirm.com. That's ECTON lawfirm.com. Learn what it takes to solve your tax problems for good. Take that first step to a better future. Call me, John Ecton.
Get ready to smile because Herndon Chevrolet, your hometown Chevy dealer, is offering an amazing deal right now. Get up to $20,000 off new Silverados. Yes, you heard that right. Up to $20,000 off. Don't wait. Head over to HerndonChevy.com today and drive home in the truck of your dreams. Chevy, together let's drive.
Herndon Chevrolet, Herndon makes you wanna smile.
Call 803-510-5447 for complete details.
Powered by Integrated Media, The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
The Gamecock men's basketball season is almost here, and we need you to help us pack Colonial Life Arena all season long. Season tickets are on sale now and start as low as $90. That's less than $6 per game to see 2024 SEC Coach of the Year Lamont Parrish try and get back to the NCAA tournament for the second year in a row. For more information and to secure your season tickets, visit thegamecockclub.com/MBB today. Whatever the game, whoever you're with, just catch a game.
I'm here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder of First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, tell me more about this 4.99% 30-year fixed product you are offering in Richland County.
We have a community reinvestment product in the areas of Richland County. Blythewood, Northeast, Southeast, and the I-20 corridor are areas that we're offering the 4.99% interest with a 5.075 APR on a 30-year fixed mortgage. We are underserving these areas, so the bank is offering 100% purchase loans at 4.99% on a 30-year fixed. No points, no mortgage insurance, no gimmicks, just lower payments.
4.99% is awesome. What's a payment look like?
Yes, Bill. A payment on $200,000 at that APR is at $1,072 a month for 360 months. A payment on $300,000 is at $1,608. These estimates do not include taxes and insurance. These loans are only for primary residences, and the loan amounts are capped at $300,000. Call me today. My number is 803-719-1005, or you can email me at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com. All loans are subject to credit approval and property appraisal. First Palmetto Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. My NMLS number is 198432.
What you're talking about.
Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
On the Game Network.
Obviously, we talk football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors here on The Game. Jerry Ford, Tyler Head, thanks for hanging out with us, whether you're in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, on the 107.5 The Game app, watching on The Game TV, wherever you are chilling with us. We greatly appreciate it. We'll get back to talking football in the 1 o'clock hour with Shane Beamer. Shane was on with Alyssa Lang and the creepy eyes of Randall Cobb.
See, now you're not going to be able to unsee it.
I'm going to have to go and jump on YouTube or jump on the internet now and just watch a little bit of the show.
You'll see what I'm talking about.
Probably weird me out. Here's Shane. The one cut we haven't played from Shane so far is he's discussing the poise of his quarterback, LaNorris Sellers. Obviously, it's been a mixed bag for Sellers. We've seen moments where it's like, wow, what a play. Wow, what an upside. And we've seen times where we say, wow, he is so inexperienced, and wow, he's so young. Here is Shane, though, focusing on the poise of LaNorris Sellers.
Just his poise. He doesn't get too high, doesn't get too low. He's very confident. He doesn't, let the emotions or whatever's going on around him affect him. And that's the great thing about LaNorris is, you're looking at these Kentucky highlights. That was his second game ever as a starting quarterback. And then he got knocked out for a period of time in that game. And then he didn't play the whole second half against LSU. And then he didn't play the entire game against Akron. So really, when we went to Alabama a couple weeks ago, Ole Miss, that Ole Miss game was the first play-in that he had in a while. And then there's Alabama, and then there's Oklahoma. So you see him continuing to get better each and every week, and that comes with experience. And he continues to get better, and then the people around him continue to get better as well.
And I know that a lot of folks don't like to hear, be patient. He's learning, he's growing, he's developing. There are people who want to finish product. Well, you're sitting around for a whole year last year, dude. Weren't you growing and developing and nurturing and all that crap then? Come on, man. That was nurture, development, and grow time. Get out there and play ball. But it's not that easy. And really the best and the worst thing could have happened last year was Sellers, in those few moments he did play, doing wow stuff, right? Whether it's a touchdown pass against Furman, whether it's the touchdown run against Vandy, you saw these explosive, exciting plays. So you're thinking, wow, this guy, wait till he's the starter. Oh, my God. And, we didn't see struggle. Even in the spring, Sellers in the spring game didn't struggle. He was very poised and composed. Made some nice throws. Didn't look like the game was too fast or big for him. So seeing some of the struggles we've seen, I think somewhere in the back of our head, it's like, well, I didn't expect that. I mean, you see what the guy did in a spring game, see what he did when he played last year a couple times. But, that's not being the quarterback of the offense every snap. And then there's been the injuries this year where he's missed a game and a half. That hasn't helped either. There are people who, that guy, he's not going to be a high-level starting quarterback. There are people who say it because, again, this year he's had turnover issues, and he's, again, sometimes he holds the ball too long. Either people aren't getting open, or he's just not reading the field, or he's not feeling the pass rush, whatever it is. Have there been things that need to get better? Sure, absolutely. But I think you've also seen some really exciting moments of playmaking, like the 75-yard touchdown run, or some of the throws he's made, to where you go, yeah, if he can just do that more consistently. And that's obviously where you want to get, because it's there, man. It's just, it needs time to develop, and that comes with experience. But the poise, too, I think we've had this conversation on and off through the season. When Sellers makes a mistake, even like go back to the Bama game, that fumble thing where he was trying to throw the ball, and it was, he was twisted in the air and he's being tackled. And, I mean, it was obviously a hideous, hideous error in judgment. He should have just tucked it, ate the sack, and came back for the next play. You see him on the sidelines. He's not throwing his helmet. He's not sitting and pouting by himself. He doesn't look bewildered. He's just kind of standing there on the sideline with the same look he would have if he just threw a touchdown pass. So to Shane's point about poise, yes, you can see it with Sellers when he makes mistakes. Look, everybody looks great when they do something good, right? How do you handle the mistakes? And there is a poise you see in Sellers. Now, does he have to get better? Oh, absolutely. But I just think there's enough good to watch and see to where you're like, man, if he can just manage decision-making better and don't put the ball in harm's way, there's some playmaking here. There really is. All right, back to the college football scene this coming up weekend, because, it is football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. We discussed undefeated Pitt. Panthers are starting a true freshman quarterback, and they're undefeated at 6-0. They're hosting 5-1 Syracuse, another surprise team in the ACC. That's tonight on ESPN, 7:30 kick. Pitt at home. I mean, Kyle McCord, who basically got kicked to the curb by Ohio State last year, has had a nice season at Syracuse. He puts the ball in harm's way a little bit too much throwing it, but McCord has also been knocking down some serious numbers, chucking the ball around for the Orange. And Fran Brown in year 2. Syracuse has been a surprise team as well. You feel like Pitt at home should somehow pull a W, but I don't think anybody's surprised if Syracuse wins. Other top 25 games this weekend of interest. Number 12, Notre Dame goes number 24, Navy. Now, the midshipmen in the last, decade, 15 years have beaten Notre Dame a few times after losing to them like 100 straight. Navy, again, runs that kooky offense. But Notre Dame has played, and Notre Dame, they do play Navy, but you don't face this kind of offense every week. So can the midshipmen, maybe you get off to a really hot start because you're not a come-from-behind type offense. And Notre Dame isn't what you call explosive on offense either consistently. So if you're Navy, get off to a good start. Keep this thing in a 1 or 2 score situation and see at home in Annapolis, can you steal it? Notre Dame could lose this game. And then Notre Dame's very difficult to get in the college football playoff because you don't have a conference championship game. If Navy wins, they're setting themselves up for possibly playing for a chance to be in the college football playoff. Phenomenal. Just phenomenal. Another game with 2 ranked teams. Number 20, Illinois, goes to Oregon. In the past, Oregon's always been much better at home. They're in Eugene, at Autzen. Illinois is coming in. But, Oregon, and it's not just Dan Lanning. It's like even with Mario Cristobal, they always lost a game they shouldn't lose. Or after they had a big win, within a couple weeks comes a letdown. Illinois, Brett Bielema, this is a Brett Bielema type team, tough-minded crew. They do throw it a little bit more than usual with Luke Atmeyer, the former Ole Miss quarterback. But still, Bielema's going to come in wanting a rock fight.
Yep.
If Bielema gets a rock fight, Oregon could find themselves in trouble in the fourth quarter. I think Oregon wins, But don't screw around with Illinois, man. Just don't.
This is the point of the year where you start to wonder if the grind of the Big Ten week-to-week schedule will eventually catch up to Oregon. Yes, they won that crazy game against Ole Miss a couple weeks ago, Ohio State a couple weeks ago, went on the road last weekend in Purdue and completely blanked them. No issue there. But as you get deeper and deeper into the season, you continue to run into these teams that do just want to drag you into the mud for a 4-quarter rock fight. How much can you consistently hold up against them? This is a bit of a trouble spot. Like you said, I think Oregon does win this one, but it might be a little too close for comfort.
Yeah, just handle your business early.
Yes.
The last thing you want is a slobber knocker in the fourth quarter with Illinois. It's the last thing you want. The other game, it's interesting, in the ACC is SMU and Duke. The game is at Duke. There might actually be fans in the stadium. Duke's 5-1. SMU's undefeated in conference. Duke has one loss in the league. Hey, let's give credit where credit is due here for Coach Diaz at Duke. He's done a nice job in his first year. Again, he was handed a pretty solid squad for the most part from Elko. But, man, he's done a nice job. Here's what goes on with SMU. If they win that game, they get Pitt, BC, Virginia, and Cal. Now, again, Pitt and BC are also dangerous. So if SMU can navigate this, it's going to be really interesting at the end of the year.
For sure.
All right, Firehouse Sub Text the Hour coming up, 803-404-6100. As we roll through the halftime show, football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors. On the Game in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, 107.5 The Game app, and The Game TV.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass. A true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Andrew Bogish with a Sports Minute. I'm going to defend Joel Embiid and the Sixers for a minute. I get it. It doesn't make sense that Embiid played in the Olympics but now isn't ready for the NBA season. He will always be fragile. He'll play for a while and then need to sit out for a while. And as important as opening night is, it makes total sense for the Sixers to protect Embiid now so we can play the more important games in the spring. I'm Andrew Bogish.
Texting enrolls you into recurring automated text messages. Consent not required to purchase. Message and data rates may apply.
Hey, Dan, how you doing? Haven't seen you around the gym.
Yeah, I've really fallen off. Since I turned 40, I just don't get the results I used to get.
Could be lower testosterone. I went through it a while back. I got Nugenix Total T, and it's made a huge difference for me.
I've seen that ad on TV. Is it for real?
Oh, yeah. The key ingredient is something called Tesnor, which helps boost free and total testosterone levels to help you trim up and stay lean.
And it's made a difference for you?
Man, I feel like I'm in my 20s again. At work, in the gym, and in the bedroom.
Are they still giving out complimentary bottles for people to try it for themselves?
Yeah, you just need to send them a text. Text BODY to 42424 right now for your complimentary bottle of Nugenix Total T. Plus, text now and we'll include a bottle of Nugenix Thermo, our most powerful Fed incinerator ever, to help you get back into shape fast, absolutely free. Text BODY to 42424. That's BODY to 42424.
Products and statements have not been evaluated by the FDA. These products are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or illness.
What's better than one win? 3 wins. With Straight Savings, you keep your own phone, get one line for only $25 a month with real unlimited data, and get rewarded with a $200 phone credit after 12 months. It's a win-win-win. Head to Walmart or visit straighttalk.com today. Switch to Straight Talk. Less dollars, more sense. Straight Savings Plan enrollment requires compatible unlocked device and new line of service. Bonus device credit requires 12 months of active service. Offer ends if eligibility requirements are no longer met. Taxes and fees apply. For network management practices, see Straight Talk's terms and conditions.
Okay, everyone, what did you think of the chocolate bar?
It's too chewy.
Feels kind of chalky.
Too much nougat.
I need to go brush my teeth.
Business is booming for Steph's small marketing research firm.
After all these focus groups, there's only one conclusion. I need more researchers.
And she's way too busy researching.
Does this have peanuts?
To waste time researching resumes.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. Put our matching platform to work so you can spend less time searching and more time connecting with talented candidates. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-9318. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call
800-575-9318.
That's 800-575-9318.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
Football in the 1 o'clock hour, sponsored by Atlantic Windows and Doors on The Game. Brand new craft beer card has arrived. Only $59 for this one. You save $300. You like craft beer? Go to 1075thegame.com, click on Sweet Deals, snag yourself a craft beer card. Not a craft beer. You can't hit Sweet Deals and all of a sudden a craft beer shows up.
But you can go through Sweet Deals to get yourself craft beer.
Lots of them.
For
only $59.
That's right.
So again, 1075thegame.com. And click on Sweet Deals. All right, what do you got on the old Firehouse Sub text line, my man?
Yeah, talking about things to do in the bye week. Wayne says you don't get better in game. You don't get better in game during practice. You learn plays and techniques in practice. You get better in game during in-game plays.
Yes, absolutely. All you can do during practice is work on the things. Well, first of all, you want to stay sharp.
Sure.
But you also want to work on things that you, after self-scouting, you go, okay, we got to do this better or this way. We got to stop doing this way, or we got to do this different.
It's focusing on mechanics, right? Because, and they practiced, I think, through Wednesday this week and have a couple days off now before they come back in and start focusing on A&M. So in the days that you had this week to practice, there's no opponent this weekend, so you didn't have to, install whatever your game plan is going to be for that opponent. So you could focus on saying, okay, we're getting beat off the edge with our offensive line. What are we doing wrong here? What kind of specific technical things can we work on over these couple days to hope to improve? Now, again, I'm not sitting here saying it's going to be leaps and bounds better, but it's hopefully a step in the right direction.
Well, yeah, I mean, because you're sitting there, you're self-scouting, you're self-evaluating, and you're saying, okay, is there some, what, it isn't, it's what? Is not the right answer. What is it? What are we going to do to make this better?
And it could be something, okay, what's your first step? Where are your hands being placed? Like those kind of just small things you don't really think about that maybe that's what Josiah Thompson's struggling with. Maybe that's what Casey Henry is struggling with. So to have a couple days just kind of focus on those key things a little bit where you couldn't really do that week to week because you're getting set for that next opponent, we'll see how far that goes.
Yeah, maybe it's like, in your setup. Maybe if you're set up this certain way, maybe you can set up like this. You'll be more balanced to take on a pass rusher because maybe you're off balance. Maybe you're getting beat because of your balance. Maybe you're getting beat because they're throwing a certain move on you and you can't counter by maybe your hands, like you said. There's so many little things we don't understand that they'll be looking at to maybe improve the situation because you just can't go, speaking of hands, you can't throw your hands in the air and go, this is what we got.
Yep.
You got to see what you can do to improve spots you need to get better at. So, yes, Wayne, you're right. You only improve by really taking all those things and implementing them in a game situation. All right, our Twitter X poll, and this one I think is not going to shock us as we move forward, for today is, there we go. Which one-loss SEC team has the best chance of still winning the conference championship? Texas, Georgia, Tennessee, Missouri. Georgia's running away with it, 77%. Texas second at 22%, Tennessee 1%, and Missouri is at 0%. So over 700 views, over 100 votes. Thank you very much for jumping in. It feels like Georgia, if Georgia, and we talked about this last year too, it's really weird. Last year, Georgia had trouble putting 4 quarters together, remember?
Mm-hmm.
And then it finally bit them in the backside. This year, they've had trouble putting 4 quarters together. But they put a good 3 together against Texas on the road in Austin.
Right.
And if that team is going to show up every Saturday the rest of the year, that's the team that's going to be the college football playoff, no doubt to me.
I think about it like this. Georgia played one half of bad defense against Alabama. Mm-hmm. They still only lost that game by 7 points. They played 3.5 good quarters of defense against Texas on Saturday, minus the couple drives they were able to put together to score touchdowns. And Carson Beck did not look really good in either one of those games, and they still won against Texas and only lost to Alabama by 7 points. So if they can just put it all together, then this team's going to be hard to beat by anybody. It's just getting everything on the right page has kind of been the struggle for them this year. And again, the defense has looked okay for the most part, but looked dominant on Saturday night. So if they can continue to do that, it's going to be hard for anybody to beat them. If they can avoid the self-inflicted wounds like Carson Beck throwing interceptions, then they should be fine.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Beck is, it's like he's trying to do too much. And the wide receivers, I'd love to watch the All-22 to see how the wide receivers are getting any kind of separation, how they're running routes, what they're doing.
They're having troubles with drops, too.
And they've dropped the ball. It's just, I feel like Beck is trying to take it to another level because he feels like, okay, I don't have McConkey, I don't have Bowers, who, by the way, is having a hell of a year with a terrible team in Vegas.
Yep.
It's just, it's almost like, I'm going to try to elevate this crew. And he's kind of trying to do more than he really can do or can do at this point in time.
Right.
He's just got to quit trying to make hero throws that aren't there.
Right.
But that defense, if they can carry that defense with them, what they did against Texas the rest of the year, they're going to be trouble.
They almost doubled their sack production that they had coming into the game on Saturday with the 7 sacks they had against Texas.
I think Texas really got an idea what it was like to go up against the athleticism and physicality of the SEC.
By the way, I saw somebody, I think it was at an A&M volleyball game, wearing a shirt celebrating the Georgia win over Texas. Mm-hmm. In case you want to know how much Aggie fans hate Longhorn fans, they're celebrating other teams' wins against them.
How funny is that? All right, that's football in the 1 o'clock hour. Thanks for your text at 803-404-6100. Wayne, very nice. What's trending at 2 coming up on the halftime show? Terry Ford, Tyler Head rolling until 3 on the game.
107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Hey everyone, it's Chris Clark. Garnet Trust is hoping to build the best and most sustainable NIL program in the country. To find out how you can get involved, go on over to garnettrust.com. You can support Gamecock athletes there, get access to exclusive content, and help Garnet Trust build the best NIL program in the country.
Honey, look, the hookers. They've moved off the highway and now they're all over the parking lot.
What are all those Schroeder's towing trucks doing in that parking lot, though?
Must be towing all those unauthorized cars parked in the lot. Good thing the business owner called Schroeder's Towing to keep their parking lot clear for just their customers. Didn't those cars see the free signage that Schroeder's provides to business owners to deter unauthorized parking?
I guess not.
Schroeder's Towing, the best and fastest hookers in town.
Need a roof? Trust Crescent Construction. With over 20,000 roofs installed and counting, they've got the experience you need. They specialize in residential roofing, commercial roofing, and general contracting. Visit CrescentCarolina.com today for free estimates and free inspections. That's right, no cost, no commitment. Crescent Construction, quality you can count on. For all your roofing and construction needs, visit CrescentCarolina.com now.
What's up? It's Elijah Campbell from 107.5 The Game, here to tell you how you can cash in on all the sports action this fall with my friends over at Prize Picks. Football, basketball, postseason baseball, doesn't matter. You can win up to 100 times your cash just by picking more or less on at least 2 players and their stat projections. I'm a huge fan of Prize Picks, been using it all football season long, and love using more on the passing yard projections for some of my favorite quarterbacks in the league. Prize Picks will put its members first, so your withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure, and I get my winnings in up to 15 minutes. They also have injury insurance, so even if one of your players gets injured and leaves in the first half, doesn't return, Prize Picks keeps your lineup live. So what are you waiting for? Just go ahead and download the app today. Use promo code 1075GAME. Again, 1075GAME. game to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. And for basketball season, they're introducing a free Anthony Edwards square where you can win if all he does is score more than 1 point on opening night. Prize Picks. Run your game.
Hey, this is Brian Glenn, owner of Village Idiot Pizza. You know your favorite Columbia pizza shop is franchising? We're excited to welcome franchise operators to our team as we grow throughout the Southeast. Ever thought you'd like to see a Village Idiot in your community? I'm talking to you, Lexington, Irmo, Chapin, Blythewood. Village Idiot Pizza has been bringing people together for community and pizza in Columbia for over 30 years. If you know someone who's ready to join a proven system and be their own boss, join our village. For more info, visit villageidiotpizza.com.
Plumber near me.
Hey, we can help.
Weird. Only big companies.
No, we're only 2 miles away. Can you not see us?
Nope, they can't see you yet. Get Cumulus Boost and get on the map. CumulusBoost.com.
Hey guys, Jay Phillips here with Ben Cato, third generation owner of Cato's Power Equipment. You hear me talk all the time about my awesome 30-inch Toro Time Master. It has made my yard work so much easier. I'm spending more time with the family on weekends. Neighbors are jealous of my yard most of the time. Guys, I just feel good when I'm behind that mower.
I'm glad you do, Jay. You and I are different people. I love selling the equipment. I love working on the equipment. I don't really enjoy using the equipment, but hey, doesn't matter. You're a little lazy like me, or you wake up on the weekend super excited to mow your lawn. It's got to get done, right?
All right, so why not get it done with the best tools possible? Do what I did. Visit the guys at Cato's Power Equipment. Let them show you all the ways they can revolutionize your grass cutting obligations.
Whether you're doing it to keep the HOA happy, the wife happy, or you cut grass for a living, big or small, any budget, Cato's Power Equipment is here to help.
Visit Cato's Power Equipment today, 4012 West Beltline Boulevard, and always online at catospowerequipment.com.
Hit us up on the Firehouse Subs text line, 803-404-6100.
Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
WNKT FM, Eastover, Columbia.
The home of the national champion Gamecocks women's basketball team. Congrats, y'all.
A Cumulus media station.
What's trending at 2?
Sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions.
2 locations in Lexington and Sandhills on the Halftime Show. Your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game. Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach and 100.5 The Game in Florence.
What's trending at 2 here on the Halftime Show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions here on The Game in Columbia, Florence, Myrtle Beach, and the 107.5 The Game app and Game TV. Thanks for hanging with us. We'll start with what's trending at 2. Dawn Staley last night on Carolina Calls, Brad Muller with her. Just talking about a variety of things about Carolina women's basketball. Of course, they get going November 4th as well.
Yep.
Against Michigan. I think it's out in Vegas, right?
Yeah, it's the Naismith Hall of Fame Classic.
Right.
So you got the men tipping off at 7, you got the women tipping off at 7:30, so I'd recommend 2 screens.
Yeah, and for our purposes, we'll be carrying the men in Columbia and also our affiliate in Myrtle Beach. We'll have the women on our sister station, ESPN 1320 WISW.
Right.
That's the way that'll roll. All right, here's Dawn Staley. They played that Memphis exhibition here recently, and here's Dawn Staley talking about her thoughts on the exhibition game.
I mean, what I liked about it is, they're a competitive group. The cause we went there for was the St. Jude's Research Hospital, and we did our tour like game day. So we got a chance to meet some incredible young people and meet some doctors that are behind, some incredible research that will one day hopefully give hope to so many families. So it was a long day in between breakfast and actually the game. So I thought our players fought through that and mentally challenged themselves to overcome that. Got off to a slow start. But they made adjustments. I like what I saw. Our bigs are doing what they need to do. Powell is playing at an all-time high. Joyce Edwards, we were able to move her around and utilize her versatilities, as well as Chloe Kitts is playing extremely well. So it was good to get everybody in the game some minutes who were eligible to play.
Well, that's what you want in an exhibition game. You get everybody in, get them some run, break a sweat, work on some stuff, see some people in some certain situations that you might have to have them in during the year. And the important thing is walk off the court, nobody hurt.
Yeah, exactly. And they were able to fill all those things. And if you watch the game, Memphis technically made it close for a while, but like she said, they pulled away in the end, ended up pulling off the 43-point win, 106-63. Got everybody in. Got to see again Joyce Edwards for the first time getting the double-double out there, and you see the potential that she has here at South Carolina, as well as this lineup that again we're pretty familiar with because most everybody is returning this season, and again no reason to think that this is not going to be the team to beat once again in women's basketball.
Well, the thing that was about it is you start a little slow, and you get it together, and then you just step on the gas. And this team, and we saw this last year. And I'll never forget when we saw them against Notre Dame to open the season, and they skull kicked Notre Dame.
Yep.
And Notre Dame was a team that was looked at as a pretty solid squad, right?
They were coming in off the tournament the year before.
Yeah, and they had a prize freshman. They were missing. They had one major injury, if I remember correctly, but still Notre Dame was a solid team. And the thing about that game was watching South Carolina run. I mean, playing at a fast pace, pushing the pace, fast breaks, easy baskets, hitting threes, because we're used to South Carolina playing a certain way. Very defensive team, play slower, play a lot more inside out. And we saw a perimeter that could attack you and hurt you. And it was like, oh, my God, that was fun.
Yeah.
And they rolled the whole year the same way.
And it was a lesson learned from the year before because, again, going back to the last time that they lost that game against Iowa, Iowa challenged them to shoot from the outside because they knew they couldn't do it.
They couldn't do it.
You famously telling Raven Johnson, or Caitlin Clark telling Raven Johnson, stand back there and shoot, see if I care, because they knew they couldn't beat him from the outside. So in that offseason, Dawn Staley went out there, got somebody like Tahina Paopao, who they knew could make things from the outside, brought her in. That completely redefined what they're able to do on offense, and it was a consistent threat the entire year. They were 3 of 11 the other night. Paopao made 2 of those in that game against Memphis, but they are still just as physical, 74 points down in the paint out of the 106 that they scored the other day. So they can beat you in all ways on offense.
Yeah. I mean, when you got Tessa Johnson, you've got Raven, you've got Paopao, all can make threes. Yep. All can beat you from the three-point line. And like you said, South Carolina is always going to look to do damage in the paint. And they've got a different kind of attack in the paint. You don't have a Camila Cardoza, someone who has a little muscle down low to just anchor down and attack, in that situation, posting up. You've got a different type of attack in the paint. So it's going to be interesting.
Well, I was going to say, it seems like Chloe Kitts is going to take over that spot as the primary rebounder for this team, and she led the team the other night in the exhibition as well.
And so here's Dawn Staley talking about the differences of this year's team compared to last year's team. I believe that is cut 6, Tyler?
Yeah, Camila Cardozo. I mean, we've, for the last 10 years, we've had a dominant big, a big that we, can throw the ball into, that demands a double team, and we don't have that right now. So for our bigs, they're always going to be single covered. So they're learning to go get us a bucket. They're learning to there's a starter kid to being a dominant player, and they're doing that. Like I don't think we have a post player on our team that you need to double. And if you do, that's only going to put us back where we were last year, where once we get ahead of the possession, you got shooters. Everybody can shoot the 3. So I think our team is just probably a little more silly than they were last year, which is a little bit of concern for me. But equally as competitive, equally as hardworking, equally as in, the chemistry that they have is pretty darn good. Like I love to see them interact with each other. So hopefully we could just continue to display that out there on the court.
Isn't it funny how she says they're even a little more goofy or silly? Last year it drove her crazy.
It did.
Remember that?
Yeah. What she called it, the daycare or whatever she called it last year, where they had to kind of lean into things being a little bit goofy. And look, you see this team kind of take on a different personality each and every season. And this year's group, just kind of by what we see from social media and stuff. And again, it's a lot of the same players, has kind of that juvenile, fun mentality, which again, it worked last year, went undefeated and won the national championship.
Here's
so
the thing about that sometimes, though. And again, it's always fluid. It's always situation to situation.
Sure.
Some teams play better super loose.
Yeah.
Some, they don't want you, they don't need to be and all intense and slapping the floor. Some teams are better when they're loose. This feels like a crew that's better when they're loose. And tightening them up probably isn't good. They're goofy. They want to go play, and they want to have fun.
And as long as you're winning, that's
fine.
Cool.
But you know as good as I do, right?
At the second, if they would have lost a game in the regular season last year, that would have been the first thing out of Coach Staley's mouth in the post game. Butt chewing guys out here being loose and being on TikTok and all this kind of stuff. Got to cut that out. But hey, they won. Went undefeated, won the national championship. All that stuff's cool.
Right. When you're loose and you're winning, man, they've got great personality.
Sure.
They're so much fun. They're just goofy. Oh, geez, it's so cool. It's so much. And then if you lose, hey, you know what? How about a little less goofy? How about a little more serious?
Look what's happening in Tuscaloosa right now.
I was getting ready. Oh, you beat me to it. I was going to say, remember DeBoer before that first loss?
Yeah.
Remember they beat Georgia? Man, this guy's refreshing.
He's a player's coach. They're having fun. He's loose. He's smiling. He's happy.
Accessible to the media.
He's wearing T-shirts on the sideline. This is great. Ryan Williams is painting his fingernails. And now it's like, what is this?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
This painting the fingernails is the fall of this program.
I will say.
And wearing T-shirts.
Painting them orange was probably not the best choice, considering you just lost to Tennessee and your main rival's Auburn.
But you know he didn't think of that.
I know he didn't think of that, but I'm thinking in the mentality of a Bama fan, which is a scary, scary thought.
Yeah, you sure you want to do that?
Of how they view this.
Well, I'll tell you, see, if you're not used to this, that you don't think about it.
Right.
You got to get it beaten on your head, vocally by people, to let you know, hey. Think about that before you choose anything. I remember there was a saleswoman here last year, and she was new, and she had a dress that had an orange kind of tint to it. Guess after a day of work, what she didn't wear again? She didn't know. She had just moved to the area a little bit ago, and she just didn't know, but she found out. You don't do that. Not a good idea. So Ryan Williams will, trust me, after his, how many people do you think hit him on social media about that?
A lot. And they're playing Missouri this weekend. I think Alabama should be able to win that game. But let's say they lose that game and Ryan Williams doesn't have a good game or maybe drops a key pass late in the game because them dang fingernails are painted.
Yeah, you're going to paint them fingernails, you catch the ball.
He should. Instead of spending 10 minutes getting your fingernails painted, should have been watching more film.
Or this,
should have been doing.
Using that fancy ball gun to shoot footballs at you catch them.
Exactly. No, it's the weight of the nail polish is weighing your hands down to where you can't make these catches anymore.
Made your hands goofy.
Listen, I know what the Bama Online message boards are going to say.
Ready? Julio Jones didn't paint his nails.
No, he didn't.
Devonta Smith didn't paint his nails. Mark Cooper didn't paint his nails.
List goes on. John Mechie, Jalen Waddle. List goes on and on.
Hey, none of them painted their nails. Just saying, Ryan. That's what's going to happen. But that's the thing. As long as you're loose and carefree and winning,
you can do whatever you want.
Everything's cool. Absolutely. All right, one other from Dawn. She was on Carolina Calls last night with Brad Muller here on the game in Columbia and also in Myrtle Beach. Let's get to cut 7, Tyler. This is a deep basketball team. Front court, back court, there's a lot of depth, quality depth. Players that would play a lot more minutes on other teams. I was surprised that the transfer portal didn't snatch anybody, Tyler. But this group, it's like, yeah, I'll sacrifice minutes for W's and a banner. So here's Dawn Staley talking about managing the depth of this basketball team.
No, I don't think it's difficult. I think our coaching staff, they do a great job at just communicating. And our players, we're very open and honest and frank with our players about where they are, where they stand. And, now is the time where we're formulating, starters and what substitution patterns that we'll use. And we're always at a place where we're like, okay, well, there's so much competition. Where do you go? And I think the most important thing when working with young people is just communicate with them. Don't leave them in a space where they have to think about, what are they thinking about, what they want from me. You know exactly what we want from you. you can either be consistent in your production or not, and then you'll know why you're playing, why you're not playing. But we won't allow your confidence to drop. We just will continue to build you up to a place where once you get out there on the floor, you're super productive.
And there you go. And that's the thing. And I believe one of the strengths of Dawn Staley has been the communication with the players. I think that staff is very upfront in expectation, in what they want, what you're doing well, what you're not doing well. I mean, look at Malaysia Fawali. Let's go back to last year with Fawali. Fawali on offense early in the year looks spectacular at times, right? She'll make a great play, 2 or 3. Like, there are times she's unguardable.
Sure.
What did Dawn keep bringing up? Defense.
Mm-hmm.
She's got to get better on the defensive end of the court. Got to grind more on defense. She's got to be more accountable on defense. And then all of a sudden, Malaysia minutes were dwindling a bit there for a while. And then Malaysia Fawali got the message correctly, started playing more D, and whose minutes went back up again?
Malaysia Fawali's. That's part of the learning process for a freshman.
And I think that you don't keep as many players as you do in this transfer portal age. And it does not matter about winning. You see winning programs losing players in the portal all over the place. Men's basketball, women's basketball, football, wherever. It's very difficult to keep all your players today, no matter how good your program is. How many important pieces left through the transfer portal for South Carolina women's basketball?
None.
I think a lot of that is communication, being up front, and making the program a place you want to be day in and day out.
Listen, you play any kind of featured role in this team, you're going to have the chance to play at the next level, and I think everybody knows that.
What's Trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions here on The Game. We'll get back in, take a look at some of the other things that are trending in the world of sports. They get this thing called the World Series tomorrow night.
I've heard of it.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little bit with Dodgers and Yankees. Also, tonight, Vikings, Rams, Thursday Night Football, 7:30 pregame, I believe 8:15 kick. You can hear it right here on The Game in Columbia and our affiliate in Florence as well. Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head, till 3 on The Game.
The Game Network in Columbia.
107.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.5 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach.
100.3 The Game.
Everyone wants you to pay for their streaming app. You gotta have this one. You gotta have that one. Well, not us. Here at The Game. Why? Because we love you more than they do. Just go to iTunes or Google Play and download the 107.5 The Game app for free. 107.5 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass.
Are you a Gamecock fan that's looking for flexibility to attend the games you want without committing to season tickets? If so, the Gamecock Go Pass is for you. For only $20 a month, your Gamecock Go Pass subscription provides you with access to all non-conference football games, most men's and women's basketball and baseball games, and all softball, soccer, and volleyball games. Plus, you have the ability to add on tickets for conference football games and premier basketball and baseball games for an additional cost. To learn more and sign up today, visit thegamecockclub.com/go.
Nucor Buildings Group, based in Swansea, South Carolina, specializes in the sale, creation, and fabrication of pre-engineered steel buildings tailored for a diverse range of purposes, including applications such as warehousing, churches, airplane hangars, sports facilities, and more. Nucor has just been named to Barron's prestigious 100 Most Sustainable U.S. Companies 2024 list. Notably, Nucor is the only steel company to be included on the list. This recognition is a testament to their unyielding commitment to sustainability and the culture of teamwork and innovation that energizes their pursuits. Go to nucor.com/careers and search Swansea.
I'm here with the mortgage guru, Jacob Crowder of First Palmetto Bank. Jacob, tell me more about this 4.99% 30-year fixed product you are offering in Richland County.
We have a community reinvestment product in the areas of Richland County. Blythewood, Northeast, Southeast, and the I-20 corridor are areas that we're offering the 4.99% interest with a 5.075 APR on a 30-year fixed mortgage. We are underserving these areas, so the bank has offered 100% purchase loans at 4.99% on a 30-year fixed. No points, no mortgage insurance, no gimmicks, just lower payments.
4.99% is awesome. What's a payment look like?
Yes, Bill. A payment on $200,000 at that APR is $1,072 a month for 360 months. A payment on $300,000 is at $1,608. These estimates do not include taxes and insurance. These loans are only for primary residences, and the loan amounts are capped at $300,000. Call me today. My number is 803-719-1005, or you can email me at jcrowder@firstpalmetto.com.
All loans are subject to credit approval and property appraisal. First Palmetto Bank is a member of the FDIC and an equal housing lender. My NMLS number is 198432.
At Atkins Law, we believe who you hire matters, but don't take our word for it. Hear it from our clients.
From the front desk to the paralegals answering my questions to the one I have in my back, I couldn't ask for a better team of professionals.
From my first phone call to meeting Joe in person, I knew I was going to be in good hands.
Holly has a great practice, and her various experiences brings tons of knowledge to each of her clients.
Remember, who you hire matters.
Call Atkins Law, 803-251-6406.
From lazy days and spontaneous adventures to revving up and reconnecting, you can almost feel the excitement building, the road ahead, and a whole new season of possibilities. It's back to cool time right now at Love Chevy with amazing savings on a lot chock full of brand new Tahoes, Suburbans, and the totally redesigned Chevy Traverse. A bolder exterior design, turbocharged V6, best-in-class cargo area, plenty of space for the team and the tailgate. Speaking of football, every day is game day at Love Chevy, where it's all about the fundamentals, honesty, integrity, and straight talk. No ridiculous add-on stickers like the other guys. And who could forget about Love Chevy's $1,000 low price guarantee? Get back to cool today at South Carolina's #1 volume Chevy dealer, I-26 at Harbison, and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive.
That's the power of love. Love Chevy.
Got something to say?
Ring us up on the Love Chevy phone line
at 803-404-6100. 107.5 The Game in Columbia. 100.5 The Game in Florence. 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach. The Game Network.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina, on your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia. 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
We are rolling with Trending at 2, sponsored by Traditions Fine Jewelry and Gamecock Traditions. Terry Ford, Tyler Head here on The Game as we go till 3. The World Series is tomorrow night. It kicks in. I believe it's on Fox.
That's
not
correct.
Fox Sports 1 or Fox Sports 2 or Mini Fox.
They don't bump the World Series to the secondary channels.
By the way, the ratings have been phenomenal.
Oh, of course. And again, this is a dream come true for the MLB front office for a matchup.
Yeah, Rob Manfred is tingly. Yankees, Dodgers.
Does Rob Manfred feel, though? Does he really feel anything? Because I question that.
Yeah.
He just seems very stick in the mud.
He seems like the guy that you go to one of these conferences or you go to some thing you have to professionally, and he's the guy you get stuck at the table with, and you're just like, oh, my God. This guy.
Yeah, that guy.
Wow. That's when you text like somebody and say, call me.
Yeah.
Why? So I can get up and walk out of here.
Pretend there's an emergency.
Please. Please. There used to be a phone thing back in the day you could do where, and it's before they were called apps, but you could put this thing on your phone and you could hit it and it would fake call you to get you out of something.
That's clutch.
That was great. Not that I ever used it, but I mean, I heard of it.
No, but we've all been in scenarios where you're talking to somebody and you really don't want to continue this conversation, and like you're doing the thing where you're like kind of like trying to text somebody without looking at your phone, like, hey, like pretend to call me and like there's an emergency or something.
Right. Like when you're talking to Gunner. Did I say that? I'm kidding, Bill. Kidding. Most of the time. No, anyway. So to me, predicting baseball now is crazy. I know we get Yankees, Dodgers, and in essence, that's chalk to a point.
Sure.
But do you see how you got the Yankees and Dodgers? There's no chalk. And last year we had no chalk. I just think in baseball now, it's about bullpens and home runs. The team that hits the most home runs and has the best bullpen in any series usually wins. And if you want to pick one out of the two that's the most important, it's your bullpen.
Sure.
Because starting pitching has been so diminished in baseball. Even the best stars. Garrett Cole had a huge start for the Yankees in the American League Championship Series. They pulled him in the 5th inning. Think about the old days. You're a Braves fan. Think about Glavine, Maddox, or Smoltz being pulled in the 5th inning.
Yeah.
It ain't happening.
Listen, if the pitching coach came out in the 5th inning, what are you doing out here? I still got 3 more.
Could you see Bobby Cox walking out there, put his hand out for the ball? Smoltz will go, I'll break that thing, get back to the dugout.
Yeah, they reply with the middle finger. Get back to the dugout.
It's just starting pitching has been so devalued in this game. Bullpens are huge.
Yeah.
And also, you know what's very unpredictable? Bullpens.
Of course.
Because you know what? You got a lot of bullpen guys, a lot of one-pitch guys, a lot of failed starters, a lot of dudes who are anonymous. You never heard of them. Like Cleveland this year, if you look at their analytic number, their WAR number, wins above replacement, it's statistically the greatest bullpen in the history of bullpens. Clase, their closer, unhittable all year. You see what happened to him in the American League Championship Series?
Yep.
He was hittable. That's my point. Bullpens are clunky.
Well, and look, baseball is just kind of one of those sports. You can look at trends and statistics and all that kind of stuff. Sometimes you just have a bad day. And if you have a bad day in the World Series, guess what? It's going to cost your team a win.
Adding to the unpredictability of the sport, I say this all the time now. If you look through 6 months of baseball, let's just go 6 times 4 is 24 weeks, roughly.
Yeah.
And we're just going to do easy math. So you have 24 weeks of baseball. Even the best teams in the game have 4 bad weeks.
Yeah.
You just don't want a bad week in October. It's as simple as that sometimes. The team you play, you could whoop them 90 times out of 100, or rather, make it even easier, 96 times out of 100. You don't want those 4 losses to be in the World Series.
Could be. That's
the other part of the unpredictability of the game of baseball. What you're doing in a short series, you're taking 162 games and you're squeezing it into 7.
And it's funny because you look at the league-wide statistics. These are the top 2 teams in terms of overall pitching, and both teams are in the top 5 in terms of overall hitting.
Mm-hmm.
What gives? Something's got to.
And it comes down to me, what's going to be better? The Dodgers starters or the Yankee bullpen? Whichever one of those two is better, that team wins the World Series, because this is a pretty even deal, man. Both of these offenses can kill you.
Right.
I mean, the Dodgers are more balanced through their lineup, and Freeman's hurt, which is another thing in the series. But Ohtani, Betts, and Freeman are better all-around hitters, but Soto, Stanton, and Judge can crush you with home runs. And obviously Ohtani hit 50 bombs too. But Betts and Freeman aren't sluggers. They're really good hitters who can hit home runs. Stanton, Judge, and Soto are sluggers. Soto is a great all-around hitter, and so's Judge. Stanton's a one-trick pony, but playoff Stanton's a real thing. I'm going to take the Yankees because, again, the Dodgers starting pitching really concerns me. I will go Yankees, and I think it's good. I think it's going to be a hell of a series. I think it's a 6-7 game series.
Yeah,
either one can win, but I'm gonna go Yankees because I believe their bullpen. I believe in their bullpen more than I believe in the Dodgers starters.
I quite frankly don't want either one of these teams to win, but like you, I think it's a very competitive series between 2 high-level teams, which, again, when you get into the World Series, that's what you want, right? You want brand names, you want big-name teams, you want good hitting, you want good pitching. I think we have that, whether you like the Dodgers and Yankees or not. It should be a competitive series.
Here's the thing. Me picking the Yankees makes me want to throw up in my mouth.
Of course.
Being an Oriole fan.
I think for most people it would.
But if I'm objectively picking the series, I'll lean that way. Even to be honest, I'm rooting for the Dodgers. I'm not crazy about either one of them.
Which also makes you want to throw up.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I'm not crazy. They're both behemoths with crazy payrolls. They have every advantage in the world. You know, again, it's Goliath versus Goliath. So I'm almost rooting for no one to win.
Yeah.
But if I got to pick someone, I'll root for the Dodgers. I like Mookie. You know what, though, in all honesty, as much as I was born and bred to be a Yankee hater, Judge is a likable guy. Soto's likable. You know, they don't have unlikable guys.
They don't have the obnoxious personalities if Yankees team is passed.
Yes.
It's just the brand of the Yankees themselves that makes people not like them.
And look how likable the Dodgers are. Who doesn't like Ohtani, Betts, or Freeman?
Yeah, that's kind of, and again, people in Atlanta have a love-hate relationship with Freeman, but still, I think most people want to see him succeed.
I mean, so you don't have that. God, you don't have a Reggie Jackson or a Thurman Munson or someone you just can't stand.
Yeah, like there's no Bryce Harper on either one of these teams.
Right, and so even though the Yankees as a brand, I was born to hate out of the womb. I think my when I was my bib had bleeped the Yankees on it.
Sure,
but I'm going to probably I'll root for the Dodgers because I just can't root for the Yankees ever in my life.
I think a lot of people, because again, these are two polarizing teams that garner a lot of hate from people outside of their fan base. As long as we get entertaining baseball, that's all that matters.
You know what I want? I want the Yankee-Indian series for the World Series. Every game was close, compelling, comebacks. No lead was safe. It was crazy. It was kooky. Big moments, a lot. That's what I want for the World Series.
Right.
But, even though I was born to be... Here's the thing as I've gotten older, and really part of it's doing sports talk for as long as I have. Doing this is fun. This is a fantastic job. You get paid to do what you would do with your buddies, right?
Sure.
But one of the things that this does, just speaking of me personally and others who do this, it kind of beats the fan out of you.
Yeah, you have to look at everything from a analytical type approach because, I got to talk about why this game happened and how it happened.
And plus, when you watch other fans and you interact with fans, and they're great fans, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
96% of fans are phenomenal.
Yeah.
It's that 4% of kooks that you almost go like this, wow, am I a kook? Do I act like a kook? And for me, it was yes.
Yeah.
So now I don't hate teams anymore. I don't. I don't have hate. I have hate for the guy that mows his lawn in my neighborhood at 8 o'clock in the morning on a Saturday when I want to sleep. I hate him.
Look, we root for
I don't hate teams.
We root for stories.
That's what we do
We
now.
root for what we can make content out of.
We root for content.
Yes.
And that's what we do now. So anyway, World Series, I'll pick the Yankees, but I'll kind of root for the Dodgers, I guess. All right, the greatest day in the history of the world is October 24th, Tyler?
That's correct.
That's next here on the Halftime Show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head till 3 on the game.
From the Midlands to the PD to the beach.
The Game Network.
It's back! The Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest. Just go to 1075thegame.com and register. The pot starts at $100. Every week it increases $100 if Carolina doesn't score a special teams touchdown. But if the Gamecocks do score a special teams touchdown, you could win the pool. Again, just go to 1075thegame.com and register. It's the Lawyer Lisa Special Teams Contest from 1075 The Game.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
The Guttermen have been providing top-notch service throughout the Midlands for over 47 years, building their business on relationships, not gimmicks. And you can call them locally, not a 1-800 number. Call them today at 791-7147 and look for the guys in the powder blue trucks.
We keep the clutter out of your gutter. Call on the gutter man.
Voting is not a privilege, it's your right. A person with a disability deserves full access to the voting process. Disability Rights South Carolina encourages you to head to the polls on November 5th. From curbside voting to tabletop placement for wheelchair accessibility and audio ballot via headphones, voting is for everyone. If you have a disability-related voting problem in South Carolina, call 866-275-7273 or visit disabilityrightssc.org/voting.
My therapist had told me that I needed to go to AA meetings. I didn't want to go to AA, but I did, and it wasn't what I expected. It was friendly. I could feel the happiness.
Visit aacolumbia.org for more information and to find an AA meeting near you.
All American Heating and Air's proud owners, Gene and Debbie Royer.
Oh, there's many companies that don't do background checks. It's sad to say.
A background check is performed on every employee that works for All American.
We want to make sure that we're sending a safe person into your home and you can feel safe.
Trust All American's family to help your family.
Check my prices, check their prices, check my word to their word.
We're a good first opinion or second opinion.
When you need us, we're there. All American Heating and Air.
AllAmericanHeatingandAir.com.
Affordable landscapers near me.
Right here, sir.
Same ones I saw last time.
What? Can he not see us?
Nope, he can't see you yet. Get Cumulus Boost and get on the map. CumulusBoost.com.
Heating
Pete Ale Wine Pool and Spa is the place for all things swimming pool and hot tub. Need a new vinyl liner? This is the perfect time of year to have your faded or worn out liner replaced. Call or come see us to repair, replace, or upgrade your existing equipment. Want to cover your pool to keep out all those fall leaves? A new safety cover is the answer, and it's safe for the kids and pets. That's Pete Ale Wine Pool and Spa, 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PeteAleWinePools.com.
Calling all business owners and property managers. Is it finally time to get that parking lot or driveway repaved? Call Black Seal today. Black Seal is a locally owned commercial asphalt construction and maintenance company, servicing local churches, schools, shopping centers, warehouses, restaurants, you name it. If it needs asphalt paving or asphalt repair, Black Seal has you covered. If you're looking to pave your parking lot or driveway, Black Seal paves the way. Black Seal also provides maintenance options to maintain your asphalt and improve your curb appeal. Get your free estimate and visit blacksealsc.com to learn more.
The Firehouse Captain's Club features their signature Captain Sorensen's hot sauce and their new Firehouse Hero Sauce, along with savory oven-roasted chicken, melted pepper jack cheese, crushed red pepper flakes, crispy smoky bacon, lettuce, tomato, and onions. Be sure to try the Captain's Club today at any one of the 14 Midlands Firehouse locations. Order ahead with the Rapid Rescue to go, but if a sampling platter is more your style, get all of your game day tailgate needs online at firehousesubs.com. Firehouse Subs, founded by firemen.
Hey, this is Ray.
And Mary Ann with Absolute Glass.
We've been blessed to serve the Midlands glass needs for 20 years.
We have been fortunate enough to help thousands of customers with the best glass service in town, in our store, and all over the Midlands.
Sure, we can fix your windshield, usually at no cost to you.
But at Absolute Glass, we can also care for all your other glass needs, too.
Home windows, shower doors, tabletops, shelving, storefronts, and all your commercial needs.
Contact us at 803-951-7200 or at AbsoluteGlassInc.com.
Just remember, if you can see through it, we can do it.
What you're talking about. Sponsored by Love Chevy. It's back to cool season with big time savings on Tahoe Suburbans and the all-new Chevy Traverse. I-26 at Harbison and at lovechevy.com. Together, let's drive. The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
The greatest day in the history of the world on the Halftime Show is sponsored by 1-800-GOT-JUNK. We make junk disappear. All you have to do is point.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
A halftime show with Terry Ford and Tyler Head here on The Game. Greatest day in the history of the world is October 24th. Got a good one here. 1943, Tyler. 1943. Green Bay Packers, Detroit Lions played an NFL game. Packers beat the Lions 27-6. In that game, Packers picked off 9 passes. 7 off a dude named Frank Sinkwich, quarterback of the Detroit Lions. You're saying he must have stunk.
Yeah.
7 picks. I know you're thinking, Terry, tell me about this Frank Sinkwich guy. You were thinking that, weren't you?
Go ahead.
Frank Sinkwich, which is kind of interesting if you go to his Wikipedia page. He started out like this. Was a Croatian, Yugoslav, American football player and coach. Okay. Frank Sinkwich in 1942 won the Heisman Trophy.
Yep.
You know who he played for in college?
Georgia.
First SEC player to win the Heisman.
I didn't think about that.
Mm-hmm. A brief but celebrated career in professional football, I guess celebrating those 7 interceptions. Get this, he won the NFL MVP award in his career. Then he coached the Erie Vet semi-professional football team. Inducted in the College Football Hall of Fame in 1954 was Frank. Frank also was in the Marines for a bit, but due to his flat feet, received a medical discharge.
Flat feet?
Flat feet was a thing about the being in the military.
What's the significance of flat feet?
I don't know. But if flat feet were a thing. If you had flat feet, that was a thing. I don't know, maybe because you're marching and you're on your feet so much and they looked at flat feet as a negative. I don't. Please help us on the Firehouse sub-text line.
Yeah, please enlighten me on what flat feet, why that hurts you in military.
When I was a young boy and they had the Civil War, the flat feet was a thing about the military. But no one ever told me why.
So is it like you don't have an arch in your foot?
Well, I've kind of got flat feet.
Okay.
So
this is what Google says.
Yeah, you Google it. But Frank got a medical discharge, played for the Lions, selected first overall in the NFL draft in 1943, All-Pro honors in 43 and 44, NFL MVP in 44. Then and again, think about this in life today. After that success, right, Frank then left the NFL and went to the United States Merchant Marines and the United States Air Force, but then hurt his knee.
Okay.
And hampered his playing career, returned to professional football, 46-47.
Okay, so apparently having flat feet, which is a very common thing for men, can make it worse because of the physical activity, standing and carrying heavy loads. So I guess you don't have
being on your feet
that extra support from the arch in your foot that it would cause strain or injury or something like that.
And you wouldn't be able to.
Well, and back in his day, they didn't have Dr. Scholl's inserts and things like that could help with those kind of things.
I wonder if Dr. Scholl's was alive back in the 40s.
Probably not. If he was, he was not a doctor yet.
I don't think so. He was probably little Jimmy Scholes or whatever.
Yeah, whatever his name is.
Woodrow Scholes. But think about this. Again, back in those days, professional football wasn't the high-paying profession it was. Here's a guy. Think about this, Tyler. Won the Heisman Trophy. Then went to join the Marines.
Yeah.
But then they kicked him to the curb because of the flat feet we just talked about. Then he goes and becomes the first pick overall in the 1943 NFL draft. Wins the MVP award in the NFL in 44. All-Pro in 43 and 44. You know what he does? Screw this, I'm going to go join the U.S. Merchant Marines.
Oh, remember our guy from a couple weeks back that, it was like a first overall pick and quit football to go work in a steel mill?
Uh-huh.
Because that's where the money was. And I'm sure his dad was like, there's no money in football, boy. You need to get yourself a real job.
I mean, they probably looked at him and said, football?
Football. That game? You're going to play a game for a living?
What
Not on my
doing?
watch.
You got to be a man and get a job.
You got a family to feed.
That's right. You can't feed
Football's not going to feed you. If you live in a box and play football, okay. It's crazy. And I brought this up the other day. My buddy's granddad that played for the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
The Reds in the mid-'70s.
Darryl
World
Chaney.
Series team. He was a mail carrier in the offseason because he said, what I made playing baseball did not support my family year-round.
No.
It wasn't until, I think, 79 when the first big contract came around, and then guys started making actual livings playing baseball.
Remember, free agency didn't kick till 1976 in Major League Baseball. So until then, you were stuck with the team.
Could you imagine you're living in Kansas City, big Chiefs fan, love to go watch Patrick Mahomes play on Sundays, and in the middle of July, you walk into a barbecue restaurant and he's taking your order?
Yes. That would be pretty funny. All right, 1959, some guy named Will Chamberlain played in his first NBA game for the Philadelphia Warriors. By the way, Chamberlain, this is an interesting stat, played in 1,045 consecutive games without ever fouling out. Ever. Someone's going to say, yeah, because he never played defense. But no, he never fouled out of a game. And he did. I mean, he wasn't Bill Russell, but he did play some D. But, Will was like, dude, I can score a ton of points.
Listen, I'm a shooter. I'm going to shoot. The other guys in the court can handle the defense.
Yeah, those other four dudes, they can pick up my slack. Boston Marathon in 1976 ran through the streets of the 5 boroughs in New York for the first time, and a dude from the U.S., Bill Rogers, won the race, beating gold and silver medalist Frank Shorter, who had one of the weirdest moments ever running, I think it was 1972, running the marathon.
Mm-hmm.
A guy jumped out of the crowd or whatever, because you run into the stadium.
Yeah.
And you run the track to finish the Olympic marathon.
Right.
Just some random dude dressed in marathoner gear got onto the track ahead of Shorter. Shorter thought he had a huge lead. Then Shorter came in and saw this guy running ahead of him in the stadium. And he thought, well, I'm second, I'm not first. And the guy was a goober.
Wow.
I believe that's how that story went. 1998, Ricky Williams of the Texas Longhorns becomes a leading scorer in NCAA Division I history. People forget something because we joke about, light one up Ricky. Ricky Williams, man. Whew. Especially in college. And Ricky had some moments as a pro, but man, Ricky could play at Texas. Ricky was something else. Sometimes you'll ask someone about Ricky Williams as an NFL player. Go, oh yeah, didn't the Saints give rid of their whole draft for him, and he was on his wedding dress on ESPN the magazine or something?
Uh-huh.
But Ricky could play, man. Whew. 2010, another weird deal. D'Angelo Hall, Washington corner, ties the NFL single-game record with 4 interceptions in a game, including a 92-yard return for a touchdown, as the then Redskins beat the Bears 17-14. 4 picks in the game, including a pick 6.
Hey, D'Angelo Hall was good.
Former Clemson player, if I remember correctly.
Former Atlanta Falcon.
D'Angelo Hall had some nice moments in his NFL career.
When he wasn't, they at times referred to him as me-Angelo Hall because he was a little self-centered, but good ball player.
Third person?
That's right.
D'Angelo Hall. All right, let's see. There is one more in here I want to get. 2021. Tampa Bay Buccaneer quarterback Tom Brady becomes the first QB in NFL history to throw 600 career touchdown passes. Bucs whoop the Bears 38-3. What's there to say? And look, I know that because it's become such a passing league and a quarterback-driven league, and the rules have opened up so much for offense, especially passing offense, we see some of these stats and they're crazy. And then you'll see, now who is it? I was talking to one of the guys upstairs last night, and they were asking about like careers like, Joe Namath or Johnny Unitas or some of these other guys. You go, or Kenny Steele. Look how many interceptions they threw. I said, but you got to understand, in the 1960s and most of the 70s, those quarterbacks called their own plays.
Mm-hmm.
They were their own. They weren't offensive coordinators in headsets telling them what to do, or putting signals up, or holding up posters. Those quarterbacks called their own plays. They were their own offensive coordinator, and they took a lot more chances down the field in those days. So guys threw a lot more picks. And plus, remember, the Chuck rule was no rule. If you were a defensive back, you could shiv a wide receiver 10 yards down the field as long as the ball wasn't in the air.
You could maul them, and that is one of the biggest things that's changed in the game since then. That you talk about illegal contact and pass interference, it is so much more strictly enforced now. I don't know how you play DB in the NFL, to be honest with you.
Well, I tell you, just like a wide receiver from the 60s or 70s is looking at them and going, where are those rules when I was getting mugged?
Yeah.
So
I got hit in the head with a brick going down the sidelines one time. No call.
There's your greatest day in the history of the world, October 24th. Firehouse sub, text the hour 803-404-6100. That is next, and we'll yip with Jay Phillips on our handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs on Alpine Road. That's all coming up as we wrap up the halftime show. Terry Ford, Tyler Head on the game.
107.5 The Game.
In Columbia.
100.5 The Game.
In Florence.
100.3 The Game.
In Myrtle Beach. The Game Network. Powered by Integrated Media. The Game TV.
Sponsored by Shepherd's Glass, a true reflection of quality.
The Game TV.
This is Jim Rome with a Sports Minute. Who actually has it worse, the Giants or the Jets? Why don't we start with the Giants? They signed a quarterback to a $160 million extension before last season, and that same quarterback has not thrown a touchdown pass at home since putting his name on that contract. Is that all bad or anything? Wait for my minute on the Jets, and then you tell me who's got it worse. I'm Jim Rome.
Must qualify for enrollment. Results may vary.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now.
800-583-5795.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call
800-583-5795. That's 800-583-5795.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for...
It's your broker, Benji Getzi. 6 straight weeks of declining rates. Now is the time. V8 30-year fixed, 4.8%. APR 5.2. 30-year conventional, 5.5%. APR 5.8. Second home investors, 6.4%. DSCR and fix and flip financing, 6.9%. APR 7.3. So visit Buford.mortgage for the fastest rate quotes in the industry, available 24/7. Thanks for shopping your rate with Buford Lending. We want to be your broker.
Correct. All sevens now. We got a $250,000 settlement for a client injured in a car accident when driver illegally turned in front of him.
Dial all sevens now.
The Nestapool Law Firm is not scared to go to court. We got a $2.5 million jury verdict for our client when the other driver failed to yield.
What do? Good heavens. Dial all sevens.
To get your attorney, dial 800 all sevens now.
As a mom, comforting my family is what I do best. Vicks VapoStick provides soothing, non-medicated Vicks vapors in an easy-to-apply stick, and it dries fast, so there's no mess. I use it to comfort myself and my family.
Thanks, Mom.
Vicks VapoStick, soothing comfort for the whole family. And when you need more comfort for yourself, try Vicks Vapo Shower Max for steamy Vicks vapors. Use as directed. VapoStick for use ages 4 and up. Vapo Shower Max use for adults only.
Point.
Hey, you okay? You don't normally miss those shots.
Oh, I just haven't been as regular lately, and it's making me feel sluggish.
You should try Metamucil. It's been a game changer for me. Metamucil's plant-based psyllium fiber helps trap and remove the waste that weighs you down.
Ace.
You're moving better than you were last week.
Definitely.
Metamucil keeps you moving. These statements have not been evaluated by the Food and Drug Administration. This product is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Learn more at Metamucil.com.
The Halftime Show, sponsored by the Men's Clinic of South Carolina.
It's time for Text of the Hour on the Firehouse Subs text line on the Halftime Show.
On your home of the Gamecocks in Columbia, 107.5 The Game.
Also heard on 100.3 The Game in Myrtle Beach.
And 100.5 The Game in Florence.
And the 107.5 The Game app.
Halftime show, Terry Ford, Tyler Head. We will get our Firehouse Sub text the hour first. We'll get a visit from our buddy here, Jay Phillips. Our handoff, sponsored by Little Pigs, Alpine Road. I think Little Pigs has got to start setting up a spread for this daily, since we do it every day.
Ford, I've been saying that for the whole time.
When?
Well, ever since we started doing this on the Tyler Head Sports Experience.
Do you remember him saying this during the Tyler Head Sports Experience, that we should get Little Pigs food, Tyler?
I mean, I wouldn't be opposed to it.
I mean, I want it. I mean, if we got to pretend you've been saying it to get the food, I'll go with you.
By the way, I appreciate you referring to the show by its proper name.
Hey, I'm nothing if not a stickler for the rules.
Hey, this guy was on time today.
You know what? Terry was actually here at the beginning of the show today, and a lot of people lost money on that.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, I mean,
how you doing, Terry?
I'm doing all right. That elevator always gets stuck.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Sure it does.
It's really bizarre.
Y'all know what I did today?
What's that?
I'm going to show Terry this app. I got a new dishwasher from our friends at the Nest. Well, I didn't. My wife did. But I used it today, and there's an app.
For your dishwasher?
Yep. And then you know what I did?
How cool is that?
I used it.
So
tell us about this app real quick.
Well,
how do you do this? Do you start it with this app?
Yep.
Is that what you do?
Yep.
So can you right now start your dishwasher from here?
I can stop it because it's still red. Look, it has 21 minutes left.
But
that's the whole time it is.
But you still have to manually put the dish tablet in.
No, you hit
right?
the app and then they'll put the dishes in for you.
It's like Rosie from the Jets. No, yes, I have to. I do have to.
I was like, wait a minute, there's still a physical element of this.
And people are going to say, Jay, there's a lot. I think my refrigerator actually has something that I don't know, but I was just like, oh, that looks fun. I'll try that.
So basically, it'd be even better if you could hit on the app and hit a button and make your kids load the dishwasher.
Yeah.
How good would that be?
They're pretty good about unloading. They don't like to load it.
Yeah, my kids suck at loading the dishwasher.
They don't mind. I will give my girls credit. They don't mind unloading the dishwasher. I think it's the dirty.
What is it about cleaning off a dish and putting in a bleeping dishwasher? This is not difficult.
See, I'm the opposite. I don't mind loading the dishwasher. It's putting the dishes away I don't enjoy.
Yeah. All right. Well, if we get that trade-off, then I'll never have to do it again.
I would say if we work together, we can have just a perfect operation going.
I'm down.
I think we got this going on.
But
That's cool.
No, we're very excited. And Graham and the folks and my guy Derek, who was over yesterday installing. Derek's great.
Very
dude.
nice.
We talked a little bit about Ashton Jeanty. He's a fan.
Pretty good.
He's a fan. Is Derek?
I'll tell you what, the numbers he's putting up. Vile, sick, historic numbers.
We
were
State.
talking
when he was in there. I had the On3 show. I think it was Andy and Ari, and they were talking something. I guess somebody had said that Jeanty hasn't played anybody.
Oregon somebody.
And so I was like, was the number one team in the country somebody?
Ran for $197.
Yeah, it was nearly
2 or 3
yards.
touchdowns.
Didn't they curb stomp Washington State, who's only got 2 losses all year?
Yeah. By the way, big game tomorrow night against UNLV.
Huge.
Yep.
Huge game.
Jeanty is averaging. Last time I looked, I didn't check from last Saturday.
1.2 miles per game.
It's unbelievable. Yep. 10 yards a carry or 8-9 yards a carry or something sickening like that.
He stands in the backfield like he's Michael Myers waiting to kill somebody.
He is Derrick Henry times 2 almost to college football.
He's going to rush for 7,000 yards. Now, I hope he gets close to Barry's number. Now, Barry did his.
He didn't play in a bowl game. Or
right.
Did he play,
no,
he didn't play in the bowl game.
I don't know. I think he did it. I think he did the 2,611 games, right?
Yeah, I think it was 11 games. I mean, he had a great bowl game.
I know they had an 11-game regular season.
I got to look it up. I'm starting to discombobulate over the years. Because I know Barry, I think, had one great bowl game, but I don't know if it was his last year.
His Heisman year?
I can't remember. I can't remember.
Hold on, I'll see if I can find it.
But even if he did it in 12, Barry averaged well over 200 yards.
You know what I'd like to see? I'd like to see JT at least get invited to New York.
Oh, I think
so. So he can finish third.
Oh, he's gonna.
Yeah.
By the way, do you know there's another Boise State player that was at New York for the Heisman Trophy ceremony? Didn't win it either.
Was that the year they beat Oklahoma?
Kellen Moore.
Yeah.
Kellen Moore was invited. I think it was his senior year or junior. One of the junior senior year when Boise State. Remember when Boise State was actually sniffing around, a top 5 ranking?
Was that the early Chris Peterson years?
It was near the end, the last couple of years.
Can you name the quarterback for Boise State that beat Oklahoma in that Fiesta Bowl? Do you know who it is? It's not Kellen Moore.
No, it's not Kellen Moore.
No.
Jared Zabransky.
Okay.
The great Jared Zabransky.
Is he the one that asked the cheerleader girlfriend to marry him?
No, that was Ian
Johnson, the running back that scored that on the 2-point conversion.
Yeah. Zabransky, by the way.
That Chris Myers ruined for him,
I think if my memory doesn't serve me, because I did a year in Boise, Zabransky is like their version of Steven Garcia. Not to the level of Steven Garcia, but he's kind of like there. He's kind of a little loose cannon.
Did he get run off?
Well, no, but a little loose cannon though with Jared Zabransky.
He got himself on the cover of NCAA 08.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
All right.
That's
I'll take your word
besides that Fiesta Bowl, his crowning accomplishment.
Look at that guy.
That's right. By the way, Barry Sanders, junior year, 11 games, 2,628 yards, 37 touchdowns.
So he did it in 11 games.
In 11 games.
Well, did they? They must not have gone to a bowl.
They might not have. I don't think they were very good that year.
Because back then you didn't opt out of your bowl.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't opt out of a bowl.
No, he
game.
wouldn't have.
Not at all.
So again. That's an amazing number. I hope the kid gets close to it.
Yeah. So, all right, we got coming up here, my friend.
What do we have? Brad Muller is going to join us, and Chris Clark talking recruiting.
Sweet. Yeah. Post-game show with Jay and Elijah coming next. Nice job there, Tyler. We'll talk to y'all Tuesday. See you.
.1075 The Game. Broadcasting live from the Herndon Chevrolet Studios.
Take up to $20,000 off new Silverados.
Stop by or shop online today and see why Herndon Chevrolet makes you smile. Together, let's drive.
Owners Gene and Debbie Royer of All American Heating and Air.
I think that's the biggest mistake ever of putting a technician on commission. My technician has no reason to overcharge. We don't do that.
You can trust All American.
When your heating and air breaks down, it's an emergency to you. It's an emergency to us also.
All American's technicians are NATE certified.
Let our family help your family. We're All American.
All American Heating and Air.
AllAmericanHeatingandAir.com.
NIL is more important than ever to success in college athletics. Our friends at Garnet Trust are trying to build the best NIL program in the country for South Carolina student athletes. Head on over to GarnetTrust.com where you can support Gamecock athletes, get access to exclusive content, and help build the best NIL program in the country.
Heat Wine Pool and Spa is the place for all things swimming pool and hot tub. Need a new vinyl liner? This is the perfect time of year to have your faded or worn out liner replaced. Call or come see us to repair, replace, or upgrade your existing equipment. Want to cover your pool to keep out all those fall leaves? A new safety cover is the answer, and it's safe for the kids and pets. That's Pete Elwine Pool and Spa, 5541 Sunset Boulevard. You'll find us on Facebook or online at PeteElwinePools.com.
Honey, Jane just told me how much she paid for Bob's funeral. I was shocked. I hope we'll have enough to pay for our final expenses